And I believe, I don't know if you need to stay on the old one or whether you need to go to the new one. I'm going to, if you stay on the premiere, the question I have is, do you need to, I guess you need to click on that thing where it says upcoming, right? It doesn't automatically go to the new one. Let me cruise over here to the chat to see if you guys are here. Oh, look at you. You guys are here. Thank you so much. That's really cool. Hello, well-rounded. I hope you guys can see me and hear me okay. I'm not using an entire studio. This is basically a mobile broadcast studio, and that is Mermaid Coffee right there. 6 minutes. 6 minutes what? Because here's the thing. I didn't know whether to schedule the live stream early and then go in late, basically, because as you know, it only gives me the ability to like basically schedule things in 15-minute increments. And I knew that the video was like 21 minutes, and I was starting at 8:30, so therefore I wouldn't be ready. But and I know that if I went live late on Facebook, it might not stream over there. But if I live streamed here early, then potentially you guys would just like click on that link. But you're over here, so I appreciate that. 7 of you watching and made it over, so thank you. Let me overlay in a huge way, and then we can all see what people are saying. Hello, Dave. Good to see you. Thank you so much. And Chris, love you, brother, big time. And then Facebook user, look at that. Yo, Hingham, Mass. What's happening, Facebook user? That's interesting that it says that. I can't remember why it says that, but you're on both. Is the other one still playing? I didn't. I actually closed it down. And so basically right here with a new shirt, because of course I have a minimum of 3 costume changes every day. If I pick this cat up, is it gonna like really freak out? Here, hold on. I guess not. So this is what I get with my coffee. I get this free cat. That way I can sing the song Kitty at My Foot and I Want to Touch It by who now? Come on. In 3, 2, 1. Who wants to win a smoothie? You knew who sung that song, didn't you? Okay. But here's what's more important, I think, actually, is the fact that I am looking at, let's see how I can do this. I'm looking at this. And yes, like all of you, of course, I travel with a tripod and a webcam at the ready. Am I overthinking my smoothie vibe? Dude, you know what? Thank you for that. I think you're right. I think I might be, actually. I should probably not do that. Mango sticky rice. Thank you so God. So I don't know if you guys like. I'm sure, like me, right? There's a bunch of YouTubers that YouTubed and then didn't YouTube, and so I naturally am very curious whether. Let me see if I put myself over here. How do I do? So I can do that, but I kind of like the individual. But to that point, um, I don't disagree with you. And Chris and I share a brain. Luckily, it's his brain. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to reconnect with you guys because as I published that video a couple days ago, Mango Sticky Rice came on, um, Vinegar Media came on. Chris is awesome. Joe, haven't seen you in forever, other than like the live streams that we do. Dave, thank you so much for coming by. You always make me smile. Mariano is awesome and incredibly reliable. Thank you, dude, for jumping in. And I'm really bummed that this says Facebook user. I can't remember what I'm supposed to do to make it so that the Facebook username people show up, but anyway, I'm gonna go with Paul Signs. So anyway, glad you were on Live My Ass Off. Thank you for that, Dave. Um, but over making YouTube videos unless it's a special occasion. Yeah, I mean, I don't need to over make them, that's for sure. But I had the experience the other day, and just so you know, so today is Wednesday here, the 13th, and it is currently 8:58 a.m. here, and so I'm going to go with 8:58 p.m. East Coast and basically almost just 6 p.m. West Coast. So that's cool. Chris, I think you're at noon, aren't you, over there in Brisbane? Hmm. Okay, so but here's one of my many learnings over the last couple of days. Okay, so I have this tumbler thingy, and it's got like insulation, and I got this because I did some presentation thing at True Digital Park, which is where Gracie and I, near where we used to live, and so I got that, and then so what I did is I threw some coffee in it, and realized that literally on the drive down here, which was about 90 minutes, my coffee was still hot. So I'm like, awesome, because the last time I was here and I sat basically over there, my coffee stayed hot, but then it got kind of cool too quick. So I'm like, well, I'll bring this with me. So now what I have is I have my mocha and my 3-in-1 from earlier today, and like a dork, I poured the coffee in too quickly and didn't let the air escape, and so therefore the awesome person that owns the Mermaid Coffee, they saw that I spilled my coffee and they gave me another thing of coffee. So now I have like basically I got a main and a backup coffee. I mean, dude, what are you kidding me? What lottery did my caffeine just win? And it's damn good coffee. It's so good. It like almost tastes like awesome tea. Your first visit. Oh my god, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming by. Oh, Mike Ryan. Dude, what's happening, bro? Yeah, if you Facebook guys could throw your name in there, that would be awesome. Good to see you, brother. And it's live on the spot, and it should be live on my Facebook. It should be live on the spot Facebook group, Facebook page, Live My Ass Off, as well as the spot on YouTube. And I'm trying a bunch of things there. Yeah, I figured it was midday over there. So uh, one of the things that you guys might be curious about is what the hell is up with the spot. And right now, it's just sort of in a limbo mode, and I'm trying to decide what to do for 2024. Um, so here's the thing: you guys may not be able to see each other if you're on different channels. So there you go. But I will try and put the comments up here as quickly as I can, which of course for me means within 30 minutes of them coming in. How do you get your backup coffee into the cloud is my question. Obviously, virtualization, Chris. I virtualize it, then drag it across the internet. I just drag it right across the 14 watching. Holy God. Wow, that's pretty cool. Jeez, I wasn't expecting that. You're welcome, dude. Literally and truly for everything. You know, Matt made a comment actually in the premiere, and he says that I'm going to paraphrase. This may not be exactly what he said, but he's like, I wish I could be a better friend, or I'm trying to be whatever. And you know what? I don't know what motivated you to say that, but I can tell you that my judgment of you is that you're a fine friend. I have absolutely no complaints. So right now, Gracie is in the Philippines. She is in our town where our second house was just built, the one that doesn't flood. So we built a house. I think I told you this story to you guys. I think we built it and it was done like October of 2017. Gracie and I show up, or we were gonna show up in December of 2017, and there was 8 feet of water in the house. And Gracie's like, "Oh my God, this is the most water that we've ever had." Only like years ago, even before, well, I was about to say Katrina, but their version of Katrina was Yolanda in the Philippines. That sort of moment in time that everything is related to. Oh my God, well at least it's not as bad as Yolanda. At least it's not as bad as Katrina in Louisiana. And so we're like, okay, that never happens, right? And then it happened like a little bit, a few months later or whatever. Well, in the last 2 years, and I'm going to say this is because of a number of things. Yes, climate change, the ocean level is rising a little. But additionally, during COVID, I mean, you thought Philippines was a poor country before COVID. They have infinitely less resources, not the least of which is the ability to educate their citizens, as far as I'm concerned, in a mature manner. Um, so wait a minute. You're telling me live in 5 minutes go to live my ass off? Really? See, I don't get that. I thought if I like went live early, that YouTube would like pick it up. I'm like now I'm very curious about this. Because it should be, again, it should be live on Live My Ass Off. It should be live on the spot, and I'm going to check this out. So yeah, so if I click on post premiere, and hopefully I won't get feedback because it's like obviously like a 30-second delay. Live on the spot. So yeah, see, check this out. So that's awesome. Spot Thailand. So that's very cool. I got to tell you, man, this is, you want to talk about like overthinking it. This is definitely my. So I'm tethered to my phone, and yeah, see, what's crazy is I see that there are 3 people watching over on the spot. I'm tethered to my phone, so I might be screwing with the video right now because I'm trying to. Yeah. So, all right, well, then I'm pleased with this because as far as hey, Eric, what's going on? See, now here's what's interesting, right? So, Eric, his name shows up, but the other person was Facebook user. That's sort of weird. Is that because you have like your privacy settings? Anyway, I can tell you right now that I can see it on the spot, and I can also see it on. Hey, good morning, Kitty. What's going on? Kitty, if you're still there, I want to let you know that the reference that I made with the hashtag to the kitten that's actually right next to me was from a song that was very popular in the 90s in the United States by a band called Pot USA, which is basically President of the United States of America. And the lyric in the song is "Kitty at my foot and I want to touch it." Yeah, no, I guess I just wasn't understanding it. Okay, well, all good. We are 12 minutes in and we have 14 people watching. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. My ego is fragile, as you know, so that's very helpful for me. Gracie riding a plank during the flood and smiling while the house was flooded definitely says a lot about the Filipino. Yeah, I can tell you, Chris, that is absolutely correct. I mean, she would like shoot these live videos. So we have a 2-story. We built this 2-story bamboo. Well, so first floor concrete, second story wood, and then some bamboo stuff. And then she says to me, "Oh well, I want to build a balcony off of the second floor." And I'm like, "Okay, well that's cool." She goes, "Yeah, we can sit out there and have coffee and stuff, but that's so we can get out." And I was like, "What?" Well, the reason is that because the water gets to a certain level, and then they're like, "Ah, crap! Now we can't get out because, of course, it's at 8 feet." And because it's at 8 feet, then of course they can basically row the bamboo raft in there and get the people. But this way, it makes it easy because from the second floor, you just get on the balcony, and then you step onto the bamboo, and then you go to the evacuation center, which of course is also flooded recently. Our most recent flood, the flood got up to the ceiling of the second floor. So I would submit to you that this is about 49% climate change and 51% incompetence on the part of, I don't know what you would call this department, but let's say the water routing department of the Philippines. So, I don't know what that, what those people do for a living, but I can tell you what they don't do for a living is correctly route the water. Because what happens is that there's mountains, right? And so Hamandan, where our house is a little bit of a low spot. So therefore, it'll rain in the mountains, and then it comes down the river. Well, then the river rises, and then it basically floods the town. And it's just nuts that it happens. So anyway, this new house, which is, to answer your question, where Gracie is at, is I can't remember the name of the place, but it's basically near Hamandan, but it's on a plot of land that Gracie bought. The other thing that's nice too is that she actually owns this land. The previous land we were on, we were leasing, and like every 5 years, we pay the person like 5 or 10,000 pesos or something like that. But it's at the point where, and this new house actually, I think I did it correctly in the sense that I'm like, okay, well, let's build the first floor, but let's build the first floor with the idea that we're going to build a second floor and potentially a third floor. So therefore, the foundation, right, which is sort of how I try and live my life, design the foundation to be able to like withstand some stuff. Not the least of which is the weight of putting a second story on and potentially a third one. And it's all concrete. And so the new house is on a hill. If you follow Gracie on Facebook, I think she recently did a live Facebook thing, and she was like up on the roof. I think she goes up there for coffee, and so she went up there and like cruised around, and so you can see her sister's house, which is down the hill a little bit from us, and theirs is about a story and a half in the sense that like it's a single story house, but it's on pillars. You know how they do that, and it's all bamboo. It was actually pre-made, so she ordered it, and then they showed up and basically assembled it, and it's quite large. But our concrete house, I know, will last at least 50 years. And so the roof of our current house is actually also the ceiling of the first floor as well as the floor of the second story. And so there's about a 2% grade, so therefore the rain will run off. And then there's like stairs that go up, but obviously we wanted to do something there. Otherwise it's going to rain and all the rain will come inside the house via the stairwell, right? No. So Gracie put like this. We had these back east, and you may have these in other parts of the world too, Australia. But basically, it's like a little shed. It kind of looks like a little shed with a little peaked roof, and it sits on top of the stairwell. And then there's a door that goes out, and so that allows you to walk up outside. And then, of course, we're protected from the elements. Thank you so much, Tommy. Appreciate it, man. You're on Live My Ass Off. Thank you so much. Working fine as it should be. I'm glad because I got to tell you, I'm tethered to my phone. My Chromebook, which is basically the reason I bought this thing is two reasons. One, it's nice and small, but also it's got a pretty decent battery. When I started the Premiere, which was at 8:30, and now it's almost 9. It's 9:10, 9:15, so that was 45 minutes ago. It said I had 5 hours of battery left. Now I have about 3 hours of battery left on the Chromebook, and I think I have much more battery. I have like 90% battery on my phone that I'm tethered to. And it says 5G, so I believe it's... oh, yeah, that's a good point. Hi, Gracie, if you're watching. I love Gracie. I really hope you guys get a chance to meet Gracie during your lifetime. It's just... It's pretty awesome, but I'm a little biased, as you might guess. So where am I? So I'm in an area that takes about an hour and a half to drive to from Jomtien. And the only reason I'm not saying exactly where I am, many of you said you know where I am, which is awesome. If you do, then that's great. But Kitty, Diamond is the one who gave me the link to here. And you know that Diamond is our engineer for the radio station. He's a Russian guy, literally the coolest Russian guy I've ever met in my entire life. And which was so refreshing because at the end of the day, it would be so easy for me to say, oh my God, Russians are so lame. Oh, you're in New York. So anyway, when Diamond gave me that link, he told me that don't tell anyone where it is. So I said, okay, fine, no worries. And again, I don't believe that my YouTube channel, my Facebook posts, and that sort of thing are going to get so much visibility that people will come down here and make this place not like it is right now. But he asked me to do that, and so therefore, there you go. I didn't. So imagine a map and drive either 90 minutes north, and again, that's on the motorway, basically. So, or south. Robert Mack, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. But this was what I envisioned. Because so the main picture that you're seeing right now. This is my. Well, hold on. Let me see. I'll tell you what. I will show you what I got going on. And let's see if I can switch this. So right here, I have my tripod, which of course I'm sure all of you guys, and then of course that's what I'm looking at. And then behind me is epic Mermaid Coffee van truck thingy, which I totally adore. So I'll tell you, that's basically where I am. 13 of you watching, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Doesn't tell me the number of thumbs up, so that's like totally cool. Because that's not why I do it. What I do it for is to hang out with all of you guys, and this is so refreshing. I got to tell you. So the other thing though too is that the last 2 days I've felt lousy. Now initially I blamed it on my. I'm not going to say addiction, but I blamed it on my desire to eat Burger King. I drove Gracie to the airport. One of the things that I always do in airports is eat Burger King for whatever reason. But I'm like, this is silly. I'm not gonna. I mean, it's Savarnabhum, right? Super busy. The amount of time it would take me to find a parking spot and then walk in with Gracie, even though I would get credit for the pickup, if you know that from Seinfeld. Um, but I didn't pick credit for the drop off. But it would take me so long and everything, and it would simply just delay her. So it was easier to just drop her off, and then I drove. And then if you've been around the motorways here, you know that on them they have these rest areas, which basically isn't just like a restroom like is in the United States and potentially a restaurant. It's like an entire neighborhood of like these shop houses, and then some of them are Burger King, some of them are Starbucks, of course, and then many of them are just like Thai food, which is like friggin' awesome. So anyway, I stopped at that. There was a Burger King, and I thought, okay, there we go. What is this? What is this link? Oh, is that what hers is? Thank you for that, Joe. I didn't know what hers was, actually. Um, she's got a public one and then a family one, and I can't remember which one's which. Um, and next week from Vietnam, what part? That'll be awesome, man. That's be really cool. Robert, it'd be great to see you. You still got your shirt? Don't worry, I won't start the Mac jokes today. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah. It just works, Mike. It just works. Me and Gracie make us. Thank you, Robert. I mean, um, I think I've told you guys and certainly most people that ask me, I tell them the same story, which is, the way I met Gracie, which was basically about 2 months before I met Gracie. I had gotten out of a relationship with a Thai girl, and we were living. I didn't live there significantly, but I was living with her at her house up in Korat, in Nakhon Ratchasima, and it was at a house that she bought. It was on a farm that had 7 rye, and she was trying her hand at like peanuts and mango trees, and she did the whole 7 rye of land with a pond in the middle of it. Had that dug, and then because she got into some money from the U.S. and then just basically pissed through it. And it wasn't so much that she was like spending all this money. My concern was like, you're going to run out of money. And she was like, hey, I was like, whatever, I get it. Ties live in the moment. This is potentially, but it was basically the disgusting behavior that she was engaging in, similar to, if you guys know the phrase new money, she was basically engaging in the behavior of new money. And she was flaunting it and without any care for, basically the fact that it was going to be finite. But additionally, I didn't like her attitude. And I said, look, you got to change this, change this. So a couple weeks go by, and I was just like, all right, well, I'm done because you're not changing. And in fact, you're going in the wrong direction as far as I'm concerned. And it's the infamous, you people win the lottery in the United States, and then after what is it, less than 6 months, 50% of them are completely bankrupt or something like that, or less than a year or whatever. But thank you for that, Robert. Good to see you too, Captain Photon. What's happening, man? Thank you for coming by. I really appreciate it. Hope you're well and enjoying Vietnam. Yeah, I got to tell you, Gracie and I have not been back there in a long time. I'm psyched. 7-Eleven the other day in Bangkok. No, actually, so I'm about 90 minutes away from 90 minutes away from Jom Tien, which is a beach just about 20 minutes south of Pattaya, maybe 15, depending upon how you drive. Burger King is depressing on a good day. I got to tell you, dude, it's one of those deals. The same thing with McDonald's. I'm eating it, and it tastes good at the time, and I always say, man, I'm going to pay for this. And I don't know why, but I love McDonald's French fries, and I love Burger King Whoppers. And I do not like In-N-Out Burger French fries. They're much better warm, but the minute they get even the slightest bit cold, I think they're gross. But also, it's all, the same. And then their hamburgers are like kind of okay. Robert says to Chris, actually getting a tattoo as we speak from a family member who has a shop. Yesterday fixed a water pump with the help of Vietnamese people. Dude, you want to talk about living the dream. That is amazing. I was wondering, actually, I don't know whether you have a YouTube channel or not, but I bet a bunch of us would love to see that. Glad you're back, Dave. Thank you very much. Dave, today is Wednesday. Do you normally go live on Wednesdays? I actually don't think you go normally live on any day. You just go every other day sort of thing, right? Isn't that the truth? I can't remember. Still can't see you. So that just simply means that you guys are on different channels, and hopefully by me sharing the comments here in this aggregated form. You do have your beautiful shirt left in the USA. Forgot it. No worries, dude. We don't have any more, but I need to probably make some new shirts because I want them to say 95 FM on them. Only so many trips around the sun. Yeah, absolutely, dude. That's fantastic. I got to tell you, man, going to Vietnam is cool. Ang Hong. Oh wow, I don't know how to pronounce that, but that's neat. I went to Pho Qua, which I've seen typed as Phuquoc, and I believe it's pronounced Pho Qua, and I'm not totally sure on that. But hey, Richard, rather, thank you so much. Richard was the first person to say hi on the premiere, so thanks a lot, man. Thanks for coming by. Always good to see you guys coming by. It's very cool. 18 of you watching. Holy crap. Have any plans to visit Cambodia? No, I don't. Only because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the spot this coming year. Um, I do have, just between us girls, I do have the opportunity to potentially sell the thing. But again, that's kind of like, oh, I have my car listed for sale on Facebook Marketplace, and I have the opportunity to sell it. No one's given me any money, and no one's, well, people have reached out, but I've got no money in my bank, so that doesn't necessarily mean it's for sale, but it's not sold until someone gives me some cash. So until that happens, probably going to another country is. If we were going to go to another country, Gracie and Eurice and I, we would probably go to Vietnam. Gracie and Eurice are going to be going to uh, they're going to be going to Singapore on the way home to the Philippines for a couple of reasons. One, to experience Singapore, but more importantly, to get another stamp of entering and leaving a country in Eurice's passport, and also the proof that she not only leaves a country that she comes into vacation, but she goes back to her home country. So she'll be going from Singapore back to the Philippines right after New Year's. Morning, Logan. Good to see you, man. Sorry, I was like so out of it, Logan. I know that I need to reach out to your buddy that you let me know about a rental car. On the 15th, I need to return my rent a car, and then I want another one for a month. And the place that I'm renting it from. Well, here's what happens with the place that I'm renting it from. I rented it, and the guy was like, "Okay, well, I'll rent it to you, but like the prices are going up. So rent it now, and you'll get a good deal." And I was like, "Okay." I mean, I believed him. And I still believe him. I believe that he was telling me the truth at the time, potentially. But he's like, because he's like, look, these are what the prices are going to be when high season comes. Okay, fine. So I rent the car for a month, and then I about a week or 10 days before I'm supposed to return it, I said, hey, can I just continue for one more month with this car? And they're like, yeah, it's like 22,000 baht, and I'm spending 15. And I said, no, 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 no. I said, look, and they're like, yeah, but we have this car, we have this car. I said, no, no, no. I just want the cheapest car. I just need that thing to get around, whatever. And she says, well, here are the prices. Send us a 2,000 baht deposit. I said, no, you're delusional. I said, fine, I'll just bring the car back. So I bring the car back on the day I'm supposed to bring it back. And I said, look, what do you have for just like a car that I can rent? I just need a small car. I need the cheapest car you've got, because all your cars are brand new. So none of them are lousy. And they said, oh, well, you can have this car for one more month at the same price. I'm like, okay, I guess you were unable to tell me that, like, over line, and I could have just given you fine. So I'm like, great, I'll do it. And can you guys wash it? Here's 200 or 100 baht or whatever for the guy that's going to wash it. Great, I'll move on. They wash it, they turn it around, I leave. Great, for another month. And then I said, hey, can I rent this car for 2 months? No, you can only do it 30 days at a time. Okay. So then it's about, again, 7 days away from when I need to return it, which is this Friday. And I said, hey, can I have this car for another month? No, it's reserved by somebody else. I'm like, okay, what's the cheapest car you've got? Well, we have this car, and you can rent it for a month, but it's like 22,000 baht. And I said, no, 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 no. I said, look, they're like, yeah, but the one you have normally costs, but we'll give it to you for this price. And I'm like, well, if it normally costs a certain amount and you're going to give it to me for this price, then guess what? It normally costs that amount. I don't see any reason for you to believe that I have some degree of allegiance to your company. I said, I think that's adorable that you want to give me a good price, and quite frankly, you should. But what's the price of this car? And then they said, oh no, it's unavailable. But if you come back, then we can let you rent that car in January or something, and then we can rent you this car for a week, and then this car for a week, and then you pick this car up. And I said, oh great, for the month price. And I said, great, and the month price is 15,000 baht. No, 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 it's normally like this. And I said, look it. Forget it. I'm bringing it back on Friday. Based on all of this exchange and the behavior of them, there's a part of me that thinks I'm going to go back on Friday and return the car, and then I'm going to be like, okay, what's your So that's interesting. So I appreciate that there's still 16 people of you watching. It said that I disconnected, and the reason it disconnected is because I had an incoming call. Guys, my data drops because I get an incoming call? That's completely weird. You're back. Okay, thanks, buddy. Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened there. I'm glad that it reconnected. I don't know if it reconnects on like Facebook or if it like creates a new stream. Oh, Joe, thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate it. I know it takes me forever to get to these comments, but thank you. Here, hold on. Let me give you a full on. Joe, thank you so much. The $2. I hope you know that I spent your $2 on a smoothie that you told me it was for a smoothie. Um, and in fact, the smoothie was 45 baht. So I still, which is good because, of course, the amount of money that Facebook takes as part of the super chat, basically, I was able to break even. So, but good to see you, Logan. And again, thank you for the connection for the rental. I'm going to ping that guy here shortly. I have got Google tells me I have 2 hours and 38 minutes left on the battery of my Chromebook. So we'll continue talking until this potentially dies, or I guess I get another phone call and it drops my data, which is a bizarre behavior. I wonder if I can like turn that off. I wonder if I can turn that feature off. Enjoy the day. Glad you're doing well. Thank you so much, Eric. I hope you are doing well also. I think you said you were in New York, yeah? Fuqua Island, yeah. It is a totally cool place. Gracie and I were there actually over New Year's. I want to say in 2018. I can't remember. Morning, Brett. Or Brent, sorry. Morning, Brent. And I want to say what? Aunt B? Is that your aunt that you were hanging out with that also got a shirt? Or was that someone else? I can't remember sometimes. Oh, there you go. That's a good question. Hey, Robert, you got any suggestions for a board bounce to Vietnam? It's an easy flight, and I got to tell you, if you're going to do it, do VietJet. Robert Mack in Asia. Awesome, dude. I will totally check that out. Thank you for that suggestion. I'm looking forward to seeing that video. Singapore is awesome, but so is, but it is. But I mean, the same thing. I mean, at the end of the day, all I think about is Singapore. Basically, it's just San Diego at latitude 1. You know, it's very overpriced. I mean, obviously, it's even more expensive in Singapore. August, I got my Finland stamp. Never again. Oh yeah, no, Finland was not good, huh? Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, August. I don't know. I would think the weather'd be okay there. Vietnam has a 90-day multiple entry e-visa. Then go to Thailand or Cambodia and re-enter after 90 days. 90-day e-visa is pretty cool. I assume it has an app that they do it for that. That's what I love about Cambodia. Actually, back to who asked me that question about Cambodia? Oh, MedTech, of course. I forgot. Many people go to Vietnam and back to Thailand. Yep, can only do that so many times though. I'm with. Oh my God, that's an interesting statement. I miss Richard Garnache. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's an interesting cat, right? Remember when? God, so that was during COVID, right? When he would come by. He's a very interesting guy. Did he just like stop doing YouTube videos on the stock market or whatever? I absolutely lost my shirt on. I mean, again, it was only like a couple of $1,000s, but I absolutely lost my shirt on investing in Virgin Galactic, which is a recommendation from him. Um, so that's kind of funny. But yeah, he's a nice guy. Yeah, I know, right? Because yesterday it overheated. No, it didn't overheat. I just got a friggin' phone call that came in. Crazy, right? Yeah, no, I know that would be the first. It's just like what? I get an analog. Well, of course it's not. Everything's digital, but basically I get a phone call that's using 3 kilohertz worth of audio, which is essentially zero data, and the two can't coexist. Wait, is that setting where you do like VO over LTE, and then that means that it won't drop the data? I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah, I am. I'm still on in the Stu Stu studio. Yeah, I don't have a Stu Stu studio anymore, so I have my mobile broadcast studio, which is basically what I got right here. Sorry, which is of course what you're looking at, and then there's me on the laptop, along with my trusty little tripod that looks out over the Sea of Thailand, the Gulf of Thailand, and I absolutely adore it. I couldn't be happy. In the USA, my telephone internet data is noticeably slower when I'm speaking by the phone. Yeah, it's weird, right? Like I don't know. I mean, sure, it's oh, that's an interesting experience. What just happened there? I'm not really sure why that went off. It didn't say that I. It says that I'm still live. Maybe I touched something accidentally. I apologize if I lost the stream just then. It tells me that I'm still going at 35, 48, 49 seconds. 15 people watching. Thank you so much. I believe that you can actually go to Fuqua directly from Bangkok. So that's kind of a neat gig. And you can get cooler by bus. Yeah, or by car. It would be neat actually take a car. But then of course then you'd be like on the wrong side of the car, on the right side of the road. It's definitely getting harder to get actual rubber stamp these days. Immigration looks at you funny. Well, it's funny you should say that, Chris, because that's actually what I get when I come in and out of Thailand. Um, I know that's what I get when I go in and out of the Philippines, which I can completely understand why they do it because they're so friggin' backwards. Um, but yeah, Thailand, I still get the rubber stamp. Someone hand signs it, hand puts the date in. Obviously, the computer has the immigration has the correct thing, and but yeah, I'm still. Oh wait, hold on. I'm sorry. What was this? When I try and display these the comments, it gets a little there's a little bit of a delay. Williams Company stock, they pay dividends and they have split many times over the last 20 25 years. Good for you, man. When you say Williams, do you mean Williams Energy? Is that yeah, I know. It's crazy, right? I didn't get another phone call, though. That's what's like really crazy. Oh, black screen, but the audio was up. Yeah, it was weird. It was like the two cameras just shut off or something. I'm not really sure. I know that my Chromebook isn't hot, but whatever. Thank you for updating me on my level of okay. Sorry that that keeps happening. I'm still pretty cool though because basically, once again, I'm looking at this all freaking day long. The cat has blown me off though, so my ego is a little fragile, as you guys know. So that's tough when the cat leaves me. When the pets leave, I know it's bad news bears. 6 months on entry to Thailand. Get a temporary residency permit. Richard Martin. Cause for being married to a Vietnamese. Ah, I see. Yeah. So when I go into the when the average person who's not married to a Filipina or someone who's not Filipino goes into the Philippines, you get 59 days visa exempt when you enter the Philippines. I get a year because I'm married to Gracie, and the last time we went in, interestingly enough, the guy stamped that I think he literally just like looked at the calendar and chose some random date a year into the future because it was like 370 days or something. He's like yeah, but at that time, like, I mean, we had to have proof that we were vaccinated. Once we got there, we had to like, I think we had to get another test, and then we had to give them the test results and then get a card, and then we could go get our luggage. So that gives you an idea of when we went. We went when we did our wedding at the farm, and but yeah, at least we didn't really actually, when we went, it was the 1st of February, 2023, I think, or 2022. I can't remember. I think it was 2023 this year. And when we no, it was probably 2023. Yeah, 2022 rather. And February 1st, as of February 1st, you didn't need to quarantine provided you went in with a Filipino. And then I believe, like, either a month later or a week later or something, you didn't have to quarantine if you were fully vaccinated and you went in with anybody. Mike, I don't know how you do it. I did my first Zoom meeting to settle my aunt's estate. It was awful. Yeah, well, it's just one of those things that I kind of. Well, if you've watched any of my videos, my live streams, you know that I do a lot of practice. 13A, still 12 months. I don't know your reference, dude. I'm really sorry. Um, 1 year in the Philippines, married to great. Well, it is, but at the end of the day, who the hell wants to stay in the Philippines for that long? I certainly don't. Um, Someone asked Gracie the other day, actually. So we were at Route 66 for Thanksgiving dinner, which was basically a Thanksgiving lunch. which I do not recommend, by the way. I know I'm not going to go there next year. The food was not decent. Actually, I give it about a C plus, B minus, which is too bad because I got to tell you, I mean, Route 66 can be such a cool place, but most of the food I've had there, it's not. I don't particularly like, my opinion, and I'm not a food cook or anything, but it's just that it wasn't worth it. So I'm not quite sure where we should go. I know we're not going to go anywhere for Christmas dinner because that's just ridiculous. Because quite frankly, you could probably have better experience on either the 24th or the 20th, whatever. But But yeah, I mean, it affords me, I guess, more flexibility, so that's kind of cool. I could go there and stay for a year if I wanted to. Popcorn, absolutely, dude. Grab some. Sit down, my friend. It was always 12 months. A 13A is a Philippines marriage visa. I didn't even know that was something. Um, I don't have one. I just enter. Does that mean to enter the Philippines um, before you're married? Is it like the fiance visa for the U.S. where you basically apply and you get it, and then you're allowed to go to the Philippines, and then you have to get married once you're there? I can't. I know that since Gracie and I got married in Thailand, and we have the Thai marriage license. I think it's called the Thai marriage license. It might be called the Thai marriage certificate. I know that what we have in the Philippines, because we had to take all of that, translate it into English, and then submit it to the Philippine embassy to basically report Gracie's marriage. And what was interesting is we gave all of the data to the Philippine embassy in Bangkok. They gave us a stamp, and then we had this receipt. And because it's an official document, they said, okay, as of now, you have officially reported your marriage to the Philippine government, to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And they said, and then the Philippines will have it in their system 6 months from now. And I'm like, sorry? I mean, even like a fax machine would get it to the Philippines within, I don't know, 120 seconds maybe. But what was crazy about that, and I can tell you it absolutely takes 6 months, because at about 5 months, both Gracie and I were like, okay, I get it. They said 6 months at the embassy. I mean, that's obviously ridiculous. I'm sure that's just like, in the absolute latest, kind of like, 6 to 12 weeks, you'll get the refund on your credit card. And usually it takes anywhere from 6 minutes to 12 hours kind of thing, right? But the reality is that we went through the process of a website for the Philippines where you can get the government's certificate of knowledge that you guys have been married. So, in other words, the government is giving you the thumbs up that we've been married. And Gracie needed that. Additionally, she needed to get this thing called the CFO, which I don't know if you guys know this, but if a Filipina is married to a foreigner, legally, the only way she can leave the Philippines if she's married to a foreigner is to get this thing called the CFO. And she found this out because she's at the Cebu Pacific check-in counter like 18 months after we were married or something. She's getting ready to leave, and they look in the system and they're like, oh, where's your CFO? She's like, what the hell's that? What are you talking about? And she goes, oh, well, you need to have this CFO. And she's like, what, since COVID? They're like, oh, no, this has been around forever. No one I have ever spoken with, no one at the Philippine embassy ever indicated to us. And I don't know of any Filipinos that know of this other than Gracie, because now she had to get this thing. She had to go through an online class where they basically gave the Filipinas warning that if you marry a foreigner, something bad might happen. And there were these girls in there chatting. Gracie was the only one on this call, of like a Zoom call of like 30 people, only one asking questions. All of the others were in there like looking like deer in the headlights, like, what are you talking about? Because like many things in the Philippines, the whole thing's in English. Gracie speaks perfect English. I think half the people on the call couldn't speak English. And so they're like watching this going, okay. So then she gets this CFO. Now they give her an email with a PDF attachment that apparently is the CFO. But then they tell her, oh, you need to come back and you need to get a stamp in your passport that is this CFO. And once that's in there, then you can just show that, and then you can leave the Philippines legally married to a foreigner. Okay, fine. So she's like, all right, well, I'm going to go back with my parents. This is basically January of this year. I'm going to go back and I'm going to make an appointment. I'm going to like stay in Manila an extra few days once I get my parents back there. And I'm going to go to the government office, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I guess. And I'm going to get this CFO stamp in my passport. So she does all this. She goes there and they're like, oh, well, you don't need the stamp in your passport. But here's an official other piece of paper that is basically the same contents as this PDF that we printed on my inkjet laser printer. Sorry, inkjet uh, color printer. So they take it and they give her this piece of paper and they're like, oh, but keep it in good shape. Like you can't damage it. It always has to be. And she's like, okay, well, can I laminate it? No. You need to keep it. And like for 10 years or something. And if you think this is a edge case example of the behavior that occurs when you're interfacing with any degree of government or any degree of federally provided service in the Philippines, no. This is exactly what happens every single time. I would be okay with it if they like didn't know how to communicate with a foreigner and basically gave me wrong data and it was like BS, fine. But this is how they treat their citizens. So as a foreigner, and so now Gracie, a Filipino citizen who is married to a foreigner, she needs to get this special CFO so she can leave her own country. Additionally, any Filipino to leave their own country needs to pay an additional $50 at the airport or through the airline to be able to leave. I want you guys from the United States, I don't know about Australia, New Zealand, whatever, but let's say any country where it's not in black and white, meaning the availability of knowledge, like a colored TV set. How well would that go over? Let's say you've got your US passport, which is not simple sometimes. So you've got your US passport, you're going to go on your first international trip, you get to the airport, you show up at the airline, you give them your passport and they say, "Oh, you need to leave this line, walk over to this booth, pay $50, get a receipt, and then walk back here, and then we can continue your check-in." So that's a pain in the ass for you. However, in doing so, you basically cut in the line in front of the next person that's going to be helped. So imagine how you're feeling. Imagine how the other person that actually had to get there 3 hours ahead of time to stand in this ridiculous line that never moves at a speed with any efficiency. So if you're curious why I don't want to take advantage of the entire year that the Philippine government is going to allow me to stay in your country, there you go. That's the long answer. That's actually the short answer. Wedding video is the first thing you see on Gracie's Facebook page. Oh, that's great. That's good to see. I'm grateful. That was a really fun video. It took me about 2.5 days to edit all that, and I think I cried a minimum of 4 times per day. So all the Filipino girls on Thai Friendly telling us they all live in Cebu. Yeah, you know why they all live in Cebu? So that you can buy them a ticket to leave via Cebu and go meet them. So much to see in mid-America. I'm debating on spending time traveling around small towns and exploring in 2024. Someone asked us, I don't think it was definitely wasn't American. But anyway, someone asked me, they're like, is it true that like 50, 80, whatever number, they said 75% of all Americans don't have passports? And I said, yeah. I said, whatever number. I said, it's a large number. And I said, but you got to remember that like, no matter where you live in the United States, you can get to a different type of, sometimes a different culture, but definitely you can go on vacation in the United States to a completely different environment and still be able to use US dollars and still not have to worry about who speaks the same language as you, pretty much, unless you're in like some barrio in southeast central Los Angeles or near Miami or something like this, where they might speak a little bit more Spanish than English, but you're probably not going to go there on vacation. And you know, I mean, let's face it, literally on the same day in California, you don't even need to stay. You can take a plane, and in less than 2 hours, you can literally go from water skiing to snow skiing on the same day. I mean, obviously you'd have to like cram it all in, right? You have to like get up in the morning, go to like Mission Bay in San Diego, water ski for 15 minutes, get back in the boat, change, go to the airport, fly to Lake Tahoe, and go skiing, in the middle of winter. And so you could do this. It wouldn't be super comfortable. But the other thing too is that you can get on a plane in less than 6 hours, and you can go from, you know, pretty lousy weather in San Francisco, cloudy, gloomy, gray, and you can fly direct to Maui, and that's a pretty big delta, and you don't need a passport for that. Now, you do need a real ID now, which is this special thing that basically stamp that gets assigned to your state driver's license in the United States. So yeah, there's a lot to do in mid-America. There's a lot to do and see in America. Upon one man married with immigration, good for a life as long as report every 12 months, basically free. Ah, I see. Okay, so you could stay there forever on that 13A. Better suggestion: Canada's Banff or Jasper, or try 10 Sleep, Wyoming. Those are like what I refer to as Itmon, basically in the middle of nowhere. But absolutely, I mean that's a completely different experience, right? Preposterous. Yeah, well, believe me, that's a word I haven't used in a while, but it absolutely is apropos when you basically apply it to ridiculous Philippines. Went through South Dakota, boring, except for the tornado that went across the highway. Yeah, did you say what they said in? Oh, it's not The Perfect Storm. What the hell was the name of that movie where they're like driving around, Twisters or Storm Chasers or Chasers or something? We've got cow, and they were like chasing tornadoes. I can't remember what that was. And they had that thing that they would pull all the special things they measured, when the twisters would come. Greetings from Hong Kong. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I loved Hong Kong. I have not been back since 2018. And also, I love Hong Kong, but I really love Singapore because if you're going to spend that kind of money, I would argue you are getting more for your money in Singapore. In Maine for Christmas. Ah, very cool. What's that flight? That's about what for Florida? That's about 4 hours, right? Where are you going in Maine? Maine's a big place. Indeed. Thanks for dropping that link. Appreciate it. Hey, that's cool, man. Thanks for or man or woman. I don't know. I can't see the image. I apologize. Hey, honey, what's going on? Thank you for coming by. Gracie probably came by and then she's like, "Oh, shocker! All Mike's doing is talking about his disappointing experience of something in the Philippines." Sorry, honey. I love you so much. Twister. That was the name of the movie, right? Okay. See, I'm actually kind of caught up. Holy crap! 53 minutes in, 17 of you watching. Thank you so much. This really makes me feel good because I would argue that we're increasing in the level of listener watcherhood. And yeah, that was, God, when was that movie, Logan? When did that come out, right? That was a while ago. How many of you guys are watching on Live My Ass Off? How many of you are watching on The Spot, Thailand, on YouTube? And then how many of you are watching on other channels? Here's the reason I ask, and thank you for that reminder. Um, the battery status on my laptop is 47%, and it says 2 hours and 13 minutes left. I have 75% battery on the phone that I am tethered to. So I would argue that we are good for at least another 2 hours. So thank you for that status check there, Mariano. I know it's almost 10 o'clock, and so you're about an hour and a half to 2 hours away from lunch. Gotta visit LL Bean, kind of like an expensive Bass Pro. So, Richard, let me tell you what you do when you live in New England in the 80s. And so I grew up in a suburb of Boston, with no traffic, approximately a 30-minute drive into downtown Boston from the suburb that we lived in. And I had friends that had houses in Maine. So, like, on a Friday night after the traffic, so like, I don't know, 7, 8 maybe, we would get in the car and we would drive to LL Bean. Additionally, when I was a kid with my parents, we would get in the car and we would drive to LL Bean. And you would walk in, and as a kid, the first thing you would see is a giant. Let me make sure I'm giving you guys the full benefit of this onomatopoeia that I'm about to make. a giant stuffed bear that's like looking down at you. It had to have been, it was on a platform, but I would say the bear was probably about 10 feet tall. And oh, dude, it was, we would do that. We would, I think it's a 3.5 hour drive to LL Bean from where we lived in Hingham, Massachusetts, if you care, but basically a suburb of Boston. Additionally, when I would go to Cape Porpoise, Maine, where my buddy Arnie Beveridge, and as growing up as a teenage and early 20s alcoholic, I can tell you that hanging out with my buddy Arnie Beveridge was the coolest thing ever because they would call him Arnie Beveridge and they would call me, but alcoholic Beverage. I'm so awesome. But yeah, so LL Bean is very cool. Additionally, when the LL Bean catalog used to come in the mail when I was a kid, we would always look through it and we would be like, oh yeah, we called them duck boots, which are basically these kind of like leather sides, and then the whole bottom would basically be made out of rubber, and the tread underneath looked like a chain, like a metal chain. Basically, was the treads. We would refer to those as duck boots. I am very okay. So here's how into LL Bean my parents still are. You know how like you can get credit cards from whoever, right? And then you can get ones that have like the Boston Red Sox on them. You can get a credit card that has a picture of like Mount Rushmore. My parents have a MasterCard that's maintained by Citibank MasterCard, and it says LL Bean on it, and it is the LL Bean MasterCard. And of course, therefore, everything you spend on there, like my Marriott card from Chase Visa, every time I spend money, I get Marriott points. Every time we spend money on the LL Bean MasterCard, we get Bean Bucks. And so I think when I last checked, because I don't believe my father really uses it that often, I think we had almost $800. I think it was like 786 Bean Bucks on the LL Bean Mastercard, and I doubt he's spent that for a while. But yes, I agree. You definitely have to go to LL Bean. It's so much better than a Bass Pro Shop. HKE is the other half we were talking about the other. Oh my goodness! Hi, young lady. Pleasure meeting you. Okay, so HKE, that's the channel that I need. Because I asked him for his YouTube channel. He never gave it to me. He's like my friggin' brother. Won't even let me know where he is on YouTube, you bastard. Look at that view, guys, right? All day long, my friend, all day long. What does Gracie have to say here? On the spot, but can't watch too long. You know, no Wi-Fi here. Don't even get me started. Ah, I love Gracie so much. Good to see you. How are you doing? Oh, you guys probably all know each other. Now that I know who HKE is, that's awesome. Pink hand waving. Pink hand waving. Thank you, honey. Appreciate it. You did do a video on Facebook from the roof the other day, right? 1996 Helen Hunt, Bill Paxton. Ah, right, the Twister movie. That's right, Helen Hunt. Bill Paxton's kind of a goofy. Hola. Indeed. You guys are probably wondering now, why hasn't Gracie taken your last name except on Facebook? Why does my daughter have my last name on Facebook but not legally? Um, I am telling you, I am so grateful to make you HKE. So cool, so cool. Indeed, yeah. HKE is from the country that has so many things to boast about. Beautiful beaches in Boracay, as well as the slowest internet in all of Southeast Asia. In a country that has a population north of 80 million, you have the world's worst internet. Sorry, you don't have the world's worst internet. You have the worst internet in Southeast Asia. That means you have worse internet than Laos and Cambodia. How in the world can your next president not run on one single platform, which is I will guarantee better internet connectivity for every single one of my citizens. That's the only thing I'm going to work on. Elect me. What more do you need to say? If you guys think I'm being ridiculous, I want you to do some research and compare the quality of education and the ability for a citizen of various countries to do better than their parents and do a better life for their children based on the reliability of their electrical grid and the speed and availability, and availability meaning connectivity as well as price. It's got to be reasonably priced for the citizens. And you will find that there is a direct correlation between having electricity and having internet connectivity and the level and quality of education that is provided to your citizens. If I know this, there is at least 7 other people in the world that know us. There's probably another 70 million that know it in Southeast Asia. Because about, I want to say almost 10 years ago now, Cambodia said, okay, what do we need to improve? Well, we need to make our banking a little bit easier for people internationally, and we need to get internet. Let's get our friggin' act together. So they get 10 terabytes of glass, they throw it underneath the ocean, and they connect it right to Cambodia. Right there, it's Sihanoukville, they come in. And because everywhere else, basically, it came in via glass that was basically on land. So they throw this undersea cable of 10 terabytes. I want it, actually, maybe it's 10 terabits a second. It might be more. But for Cambodia, they throw that in. Another thing that really bothers me about the Philippines internet connectivity is not so much, is that what they call him? Spanky the bear? Is on your phone, if you don't know, that little like image that's up there, the little letters that say 5G, that's pushed to you from the carrier. If you had experienced this at any time during COVID, some of the carriers were pushing the words stay safe instead of like 4G, LTE. It's not something that's necessarily rendered by the device. It's something that's pushed to it by the carrier. Much like the stereo indicator or the stereo light that comes on your radio for FM, because us broadcasters send out a carrier signal at 19 kilohertz. Okay? So in other words, it's the transmitters that push that. The Philippines intentionally throws the 5G display up there when the backhaul is not 5G capable. When the RF connection between your phone and the cell tower is not 5G standard compatible, they still display 5G. How wonderful is that? San Antonio, Texas, Lone Star Brewery. The guy messed up like a barbershop quartet, drunk with beer, foaming his mustache from the Hall of Antlers. Taste test included. Good to know, dude. That is absolutely. Same here, Mike. Good to see you as well. I'm pleased to meet you here indeed. Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm psyched to like meet Chris in person, but I am so psyched to meet Chris plus HKE. That's going to be epic. 2 weeks in Eagle Lake, Maine, spending Christmas and New Year's. Eagle Lake. Give me, I know where Sebago Lake is. Obviously, I know where Portland is. I know where Cape Porpoise is. I know where the University of Maine, I know where Bangor is. Where is Eagle Lake? Without me Googling it, obviously. 110 million, but Starlink is now only 42 USD a month. You can get Starlink in 110 million for the population of the Philippines. You can get Starlink for 42. Okay, so what's that? That's 2,000 pesos a month. Starlink. My buddy in Alaska has Starlink, and I want to say he can get 100 megabits up and down. Is that true? What is the speed available from Starlink in the Philippines? Because that is about 3, 2, 1, boom, ordered all day long. Yeah, I would agree on a UPS, not so much because the power goes out, but because the power spikes like crazy. I can't tell you how many silly flat screen TVs. People are like, why do you buy these cheap screen, And they sell you these surge protectors, and there's nothing in them. Not even capacitors, not even the crappy ass surge protectors that throw caps in line so that when it spikes, at least the cap will blow. The whole surge protector then basically becomes useless. You can take it apart and replace the capacitors if you're awesome like Chris and I, but for the most part, It's basically you're sacrificing it. AC's frequency of 60 hertz was used to time TV cameras to television sets when it was first invented. Indeed. It was, and the reason, well, so sort of. I mean, you got to remember that the NTSC, right, which is the system that the United States used, versus the PAL system, phase alternating lines, it was also different than any other countries, and so that's also why they chose it too. Ah, got it. Spanking the monkey. Sending hugs from me and Yuri's. Love you guys like crazy, honey. Psych for you to see. Psych for us to come down here. As you may have heard me talking, I got to figure out a car solution after this Friday. Um, so hopefully we can drive down and you and Yuri's can look at this and be like, oh, wow, that's where that really famous YouTuber, Johnny Cupcakes, did that live stream right after he did that premiere on his mobile broadcast studio. Robert says to Richard, I've been to Austin, Texas, San Antonio, went to visit a friend, Tommy J, and left it and toured Texas, but I will in the future. Austin is a really great city. Gracie and I went there. What did we go there for, honey? 2 nights, I want to think. I want to say, rather. I think it was 2 nights. Maybe it was at least one. I think it's probably 2 nights. I had these like vouchers through Marriott, and so I have to use them up, use them or lose them. And they're for decent hotels. Gracie and I recently just went down here, kind of near where I am right now, actually, but well south of John Tien Beach. And we stayed at I think it was a Marriott. It was a Marriott prop. It was a Marriott brand. Yeah, it might have been the Marriott. It's kind of nice. But I like Austin. San Antonio I've been to as well. I was there for actually almost a week. And it's pretty cool. They have like a neat little river and stuff. And, there's shops along it. And you can take like little boats. But Austin's it's just more modern. It's very, it's hip. And what's the convention that they have there every year? South by Southwest. That's a really, really cool convention. I've never made it there, but I want to. I hope to get back to Hua by Christmas. I heard the new elevated train station will be in operation. Yeah, I mean it's not. It's higher. I particularly like the ones that are actually at ground level, like the one in Cha'am. You just walk across the tracks. I don't know. It's kind of like old school. Okay, so what's your definition of NTSC? Never the same color. Ah, yeah, but you're a pal guy. Are you my pal? Okay, so what does pal stand for? What is a derogatory 3-letter abbreviation for pal? Indeed, yeah, absolutely, dude. Way better. Why though? Why is it better? How many frames a second is PAL versus NTSC? PAL is what, 25 frames a second, and NTSC is 28? Or is that movies that I'm thinking of, not broadcast? Hmm. 3 hours north of Bangor. Wow, that's up there, bro. You're not driving, are you? You fly? Did you fly into Bangor and then take a 3-hour drive? Oh yeah, no, totally, dude. Yeah, it's so good. That's just like good news all day long. Oh, I gotta definitely check out her channel. That's really cool. Is it 30? Okay, I couldn't remember. 30 frames a second. Okay, what you're about to see is a guy walk in the frame. That is the guy with the fishing net that will go out on um, that pier there. But I don't know what the impetus is going to be for him to throw it out there. I don't know what he watches for, because so one of you guys told me that they were they were basically fishing for the small fish, right, that are bait. And oh, look at that! I just like, hold on, I can make myself bigger so you guys can see what I just did to my epic Earth shirt, my gay Earth shirt. I have. Can you see it there with the contrast? It's a couple threads. I snagged it on this. I snagged it on this chair. This is one of these very Thai chairs. I've got my bag here, of course. This is one of these very Thai chairs, which I get free, of course, with the coffee. And I really hope he charges me more than 45 baht, because the Mocha was 45 baht, but then he brought over a second cup of coffee, noticing that, like a klutz, I spilled the first one. Hey, do you guys have a recommendation? NTSC is 30 frames a second, but then what does this say? Old school PAL, 25 hertz, refresh, and then NTC is 30. Okay, cool. So here's a technical question for you guys. Maybe you can help me out. So I have USB basically 2.0 devices. Okay, so I have like the USB webcam that we're looking at right now, which is this, which is just a simple Logitech that I picked up, and then I use USB. I believe it's 3.0, but I think because I can do 1080p, I believe, coming out of the USB-C connector on my GoPro 9. So here's what I need. As you guys know, the USB protocol, it's got a finite distance. And even though the protocol says you can go like 10 meters, absolutely no way I can go 10 meters. I read somewhere that the maximum distance you can go with USB is twice the length of the originating cable. So if your camera has like a 2 meter cable on it, then all you can go is 4 meters. So for example, I have this Logitech, and the cable on it is probably about a meter, meter and a half. And if I try and connect like a 3 meter USB extension to it, it barely works. In fact, the LED on the camera won't even light up. And sometimes the audio just goes with the video, and then the video will get up. So what I need is a USB extender. Now, I believe I have found that there is a company that makes USB extenders. Basically, you plug USB into each of these devices. One end is powered with a wall wart of like 5 volts or 12 volts, probably 5. And then in the between these two devices, you extend this USB connectivity via a piece of Cat 5 or Cat 6, so you have RJ45s. So it's USB in and out, and then it's Cat 5 in and out. And apparently, with that, then you can use the Cat 5 protocol, at least, if not Cat 5e or Cat 6, to go, for the sake of argument, 100 meters with USB. So I think that is what I need to do. So we're looking forward to your comments on this. So busy nowadays, I don't have any activity on my channel. Oh yeah, no, I get it. Well, I mean, I was busy doing other things, and now I'm sort of back to really appreciating life and being able to look at what we got going on there from the camera. Is to fill a tank. Oh, got it. Okay, so I understand what you meant by that. So so it brings up the seawater. Okay, got it. And then so that's what he was doing yesterday. So maybe that guy is just there fishing. 3 meters on USB to the cable loss. USB powered extenders run up to about 50 feet reliably. Okay, and then basically Richard also said USB 3.0 usually has the blue inserts. Agreed. Yeah, and in fact, on the side of my Asus laptop, so here's one for you. So I think you guys that are watching this, you guys remember when I bought my Asus laptop. It was basically during COVID, and it was like $700, and it came with 2 GPUs and a Dynamite processor, which is an i7, which is still a great CPU. But the NVIDIA GPU in there is the GTX 1650. And at the time, that was decent. And certainly for $700, it was a great machine. It's got 2 USB 3.0, 1 USB 2.0. The battery on it, I've already replaced the battery. It still doesn't even last 2 hours. But it's a really decent laptop for the money, but it's over 3 years old. So I need a recommendation, and I'm probably not going to remember it if you guys put it here. So if you would do me a favor, I'm going to throw my email address up here. And what I would love for one of you guys to do is send me an email and a recommendation, ideally just a link to it. It can be in Amazon or it can be in Lazada or whatever. Send me a recommendation for a decent laptop that is not super heavy. The one that I have now has a keyboard, and then it has the numeric keypad. It probably weighs like 3, maybe 4 kilos. So it's a little heavy, but I'm looking for something ideally with an i9. I could probably get away with an i7, provided it's got at least 2 GPUs in it, one of which being an NVIDIA card where I can run. It's got to be. It doesn't necessarily have to be GTX, but it needs to be an NVIDIA GPU that's basically modern enough such that I can run GT. I believe it's called I believe it's called RTX Broadcast. I believe the app that I want to run is NVIDIA RTX Broadcast, because that is the app that I want to be able to run so that I can do audio processing using the GPU, which of course doesn't take a whole lot of GPU because it's just audio. It's not like I need to like do video transcribing, which of course would really suck a lot of the GPU. But I would really like a recommendation on a laptop. I don't want to go really much more than about 15 inches diagonal. Definitely want 16 gigs of RAM, but if you send me a link that's got like just this amazing price and it's only got 8 gigs of RAM, but I can upgrade it to 16 or 32, that's no worries. Because the price of RAM is pretty much solid all over the place. Now, I did just say i9. It is not a requirement that I get an Intel chip. So I could go with Ryzen or Ryzen. I'm not really sure how you pronounce it. I pronounce it Ryzen just because it's RY. But I could go with a Ryzen. I have a Ryzen 7 now. I could go with a Ryzen 9 or an Intel i9. I'm not married to either CPU. For some reason, I seem to prefer AMD CPUs just because, at least on my current Asus, it has a turbo button. And so what that allows me to do is get a little bit more battery life without going, it won't even go into turbo mode when I'm using the battery. But when I'm plugged in, I can go to either silent performance or turbo. And that's the full on like 3.5 gigahertz that I get out of the CPU. But again, when I'm on battery, I can only use it at, um, silent or performance, which is okay on battery. And again, if I'm on the battery, I'm not looking so much for something that has a lot of battery life because I have this Chromebook. And what right now, quite frankly, I'm hoping that you guys would agree with me. This is pretty good. I mean, I got this, this USB the USB Logitech that I just threw on. Probably it's not even 1,000 baht for the tripod, and I think the camera was not even 1,000 baht either, and I just plug that into the USB in this Chromebook, and then I'll do a Mariano battery check, my Mariano Memorial battery check. 39% left, and Google tells me I have an hour and 59 minutes. So anyway, yeah, I threw my email up there. So if you guys would do me a favor and send me an email with some links to some laptops that you recommend. Saudi Cobb, the gentleman um, with the net has walked back, as you saw there towards the end. So I have a feeling that it is not. I guess it's not good timing. It's a little bit after 10, and I got to tell you, once you get after about 10 around here, it's starting to get really hot. Right now, I am behind. So I am behind this tree, which is basically giving me cover for the sun. The big shiny red ball that provides us love and energy from way up in the sky. However, as you can see, I need to go get my hat. So if you guys will do me a huge favor, my hat is basically about 15 meters behind me. I'm going to go get my hat. So you're looking for a new, yeah, right, thank you. Yeah, RTX Voice. I was looking at that. There's also some other app called like something like GTX Broadcast or something. But yeah, RTX Voice is what I want to be able to run on the thing while at the same time being able to use the GPU for other things. If I stuck in the window past, I can't recommend. If you're still stuck in the Windows past, I can't recommend my M2 Mac. Yeah, so I mean, I get that that's adorable, and people that basically waste their money on an iPhone rather than doing something concrete. I can understand why that is because you're part of an ecosystem, which of course no one in the world knew that word until Apple started using it for marketing. But as you guys know, I run broadcast automation software. Broadcast automation software isn't written for Macs because only people who are lame use Macs, and so therefore people that own radio stations, we own Windows machines. So and anyway, so let's see. Additionally, the servers I run Windows. There aren't a whole lot of Apple servers that I can get in the cloud simply because that would be ridiculous. Supposedly Windows 12 is coming out in June. Oh yeah, I have 11 now. I mean, it's fine. Every time I update, I basically just wait for like sort of the first SP version, and then yeah, you got me. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a superior processor. I'm not saying it's not. Um, but I will tell you that until basically they design it to run at least 51% of the software that's available in the world, then it's useless to me. unless I run a VM. But it's like I'm not gonna. That's ridiculous. Thank you for the HP Envy. Okay, so I tell you what, I'm actually gonna go to this and oh, actually, I can't go to it. I can't go to it on the thing there. So a 4060 that'll definitely allow me to do some stuff. Anyway, you guys chat amongst yourselves. I'll answer this question, but then I'm gonna go get my hat size screen. I kind of want to keep it under 15, just because I need to be able to fit it in most backpacks. Anything bigger than I think that like 15.6 is a very common one, right? But anyway, I'll let you guys look at the Sea of Thailand. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go get my hat. Ah! Oh, my Buddha. Okay, cool. Thank you guys. 16, seriously? That many of you guys stayed? I am absolutely honored. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. This is an interesting hat. It's one of these things where the brim is large, right? Which is the reason I bought it, so that it keeps sort of the sun to the best of my. I mean, I'm getting a little bit of overspray right there. But if I do this, and then I use the words chewing tobacco, then basically it'll be pretty authentic. But because of the size of this brim, when I speak, it like echoes down to my ears. So actually, I'm probably going to start talking a little bit softer, because when I wear this and I speak, it's like almost louder. So that's kind of bonkers. But anyway, yeah, I'd like to keep it under. I'd like to keep it smaller if possible. That would be really cool. Let me just do a quick battery check here. So I've got basically 37% still, I believe, is what it was from before, but it says I have an hour and 50 minutes left, and I have 71% on my phone. So, man, 5G tethering on my phone, that is efficient. I am very pleased with that. That is great. But thank you for the Best Buy link. Can you do me a favor, Joe, and email that to me? Because I can't click on it inside of the app that I'm on. But I guess I could probably go back and look at it. But yeah, shoot me an email, dude. That would be like really helpful. Um, And I think you're correct. I think if oh wow, so what's funny, right? So I like leave and I come back, but then now that I got my hat on, 5 of you still left, and I have 11 of you hanging out, which I really appreciate. Thank you guys. Um, hey, so how's the audio on this? I'm just curious. I guess I should have asked you guys that a lot sooner, but as you know, I'm like kind of into that, and right now I'm less than a meter away from the physical screen slash microphone. So you got the camera like right in the front there, and then I believe that there's two microphones. But at least there's two dots, and I believe those where the microphones are. So I'm basically effectively talking straight into the microphones, but I'm sure it doesn't sound like an RE20, but it it definitely gives me what I need for what we're doing right now, because I'm having a great time. And thank you guys for coming. Thank you for sticking around. And the 5 people that left the cool kids table when I went and got my hat, well, you know what? I see how you are. An hour and 23 minutes in. So cool. I love doing this stuff. I have this laptop, works great. Oh, okay, so that's the one you bought, Joe? Okay, awesome. Thank you. Um, an HP Envy 16. So yeah, that might be a little large, but 16 gigs. So the 4060, you mentioned that, Richard. Is that like something that is that like sort of the 4060? Is that sort of a is that one that's like good enough, or is that like the most awesome one? Because I don't know if I don't need something like totally awesome. 1 terabyte SSD, I don't need that, but I get that those just like sort of come with it. Um, that HP laptop, just out of curiosity, Joe, is that an Intel or an AMD CPU? Just curious. Um, yeah, thank you, Joe. I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it. That's been kind of cool. And it was it less than $1,000? You need corks on strings around your hat to keep the flies off. Audio is thin, but okay. Yeah, I mean, again, imagine the size of the of the of the microphone element, right? That's inside of this thing. The fact that it works at all is just amazing to me because it literally is a pinhole. Like honestly, I think that I own pins, and I figured again, I'm outdoors and I'm you know but I'm glad it's okay. Thank you, and I know that what. If it wasn't a minimum of at least okay, I'd probably be bummed. But none of you guys have complained and been like, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I figured it would be that. A tad tinny, but okay for a stream. Oh, that's an interesting comment. Thanks, Logan. I appreciate that. Okay for a live stream. Yeah, yeah. I guess that makes sense. There's a part of me that wants to get another drink from these people. Does it change at all when I wear my hat? So now I'm not wearing my hat, and now I'm wearing my hat. Does the audio change at all? Behind me is the truck, the Mermaid Coffee van truck. Immediately behind that is the 7-Eleven that I showed you guys in the video earlier. And something that I did not know existed until only recently is 7-Eleven's sale of big gulps. So big gulps are now a thing here at 7-Eleven. Additionally, I can get a big gulp cup full of ice, which is really a lot of times the only thing that you kind of need from 7-Eleven for 10 baht. And I didn't do this intentionally, but what I discovered yesterday, because I just got a big gulp cup of ice for 10 baht, and I had a Coke Light or a Diet Coke in the car. So I opened up the Coke Light and I poured it in. I'm thinking, okay, it's a massive big gulp container, right? There's no way this will. And I could barely fit the whole three. How big are the sodas over here? I think it's 200. Is it 250 milliliters or 350? Because the 12 ounces, of course, that we have in the U.S., those don't exist over here for soft drinks. That size exists for beer, but basically it's what is 8.5 ounces in the United States. So I think that basically translates to about 250 milliliters. Anyway, the point to that is that container of Coke Light that I buy normally is like 20 baht. And then 10 baht for the ice, which is the total of 30 baht. And that was all the liquid that I could fit in there, given the amount of ice that was in there. But what's interesting is that if I go into the fountain thing, right, and I get the cup full of ice, and then I put like Coke Zero or Coke Light into the container and fill it up the same amount, it's 38 baht. So I was like, wow, 7-Eleven is brilliant. Because, of course, you think you're getting a lot more volume, when in fact, you're only getting 20 baht worth of beverage, 10 baht worth of ice. So one could argue then that probably 8 baht is the cost of the container. That's how they calculate that. But I don't know for sure. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting. I'm not going to not buy. I really like fountain soda because sometimes, a lot of times, it's not. Yeah, I would say a lot of times. What do you guys think? At least 51% of the time, there's a lot more carbonation in the fountain, and that sometimes gives it a more satisfying taste, satisfying gulp. Amazes me what they can squeeze through pinholes on laptops. There's a joke there somewhere, Chris, but I just, I'm obviously way appropriate. So just sent it in. I believe it's around 1,300 USD. See, here's the downside: is that if it's 1,300 USD in the United States, then that means over here it's going to be a little more, which will probably have it sitting at about 45,000 baht. And I got to tell you, I was so jazzed to be able to get that previous laptop. I think it was like 20,000 or 21,000 baht. And it's lasted me this long, and I can still use it. For example, I edited the video last night. I found new editing software, which gives me pretty much everything I need, but it also has the ability to upgrade and get stuff that I might need later on. Wondershare's Filmora, which is something that I had always turned my nose at for years, and I don't particularly know why. But I remember like seeing it, and I was like, yeah, I get kind of like Power Director. Is it called Power Director? And I would like download that to my phone, and then I would like to splice videos together and upload it. So it was great for that, and it was free, and it would just show its logo. So I never bought that one. But I was talking to Ride for Kicks. I was talking to Lucas recently. I said, hey, just out of curiosity, dude, what software do you use to do editing? He's like, Filmora. And I'm like, really? So then I checked out Filmora, and I was like, wow, this thing is actually pretty efficient. And the way it renders, and of course, you can do the login with YouTube, and you render the video, and then it also automatically uploads it to YouTube with the title and your tags and all of this. So I was like, wow, that's like pretty cool. And so yeah, so I'm using Filmora on my PC, and I was like, wow, this thing's it's perfect for me. DaVinci Resolve is awesome, and again, to be fair, it's also free, but it's intense. And I will tell you that I've gone through the YouTube videos on how to tweak DaVinci Resolve so that it uses my CPU and my GPU better. But then, of course, the free version doesn't allocate processing towards the GPU the way the paid version does, which I can totally appreciate. I mean, people write software; they should be paid. I get it. But the I don't know. I just think it's fitting me. It's absolutely fitting me. So yeah, so it's 250 milliliters is the container. Good to know. Last time I did fountain drink in Thailand, drank a full bottle of KO. Attaboy, Richard. The wind is picked up where you are, or on my. As far as I know, my webcam on Logitech does not have audio attached to it. As far as I know, the only audio is coming basically here from the microphones on the front of the monitor on my Google Chromecast. Sorry, my Google Chromebook, which actually is directly in the sun, but it's not heating up, nor is my phone. I am really pleased. I'm at 69% battery on my phone and have been tethered to the silly thing at 5G for an hour and a half. I mean, is that just like awesome dot sauce or what? I think it is. I appreciate your message that you sent me a while back that I was back online, Chris. But interestingly enough, the most messages I've gotten online since we started this broadcast is from silly line shopping, which of course I don't care about. Gave up a 15-year addiction to Coke Zero a few months ago. The caffeine withdrawal was killer. Only soda water these days. So I mean, I understand that, but how many were you having a day? I mean, I don't. I guess I've gone drinking coffee or Coke Zero a day. I'm trying to think like when I've ever gone have I gone completely without like having a cup of coffee or a caffeinated soft drink during the day. And I think I had at least one of those. So I don't know if I've ever not. There's got to be days where I didn't drink any caffeine. And I don't recall ever reflecting back on that. But I also wasn't consciously like I'm going to stop doing this. Um, but I'm naturally curious. I mean, how many were you drinking a day? When you say an addiction, I assume that means like 5, 6, 7, or whatever. The thing that bugs me is I don't drink it for the caffeine. I drink it for the taste. I really like the taste. It bums me out. Some days I'll be like, oh man, I could really go for like a Coke Zero or a Coke Light right now over ice because it's refreshing. But I won't because there's caffeine in it, and I'm like, oh man. Already sneaking an iPhone 12 for the girl I like in Hawaiian. Oh yes. Oh yeah. No, those are cheaper back home, big time. I'm gonna say those are cheaper by at least 10%, at least 20%, maybe almost 20% back there. Yeah, that's for sure. 9 of you still watching. That's pretty cool. I was stoked for the 18. That was really cool. Now, see, I wonder why I like peaked at 18 and was there for a while. I went down to 16. Obviously, when I got my hat and I basically stopped doing stuff, I understand why 5 people left at that time. Oh, I got 2 more. Thank you for the 10 people that are watching right now. Um, but I'm always curious why that happens. I know that sometimes it's just like, yeah, Mike, you're nice, you're interesting, you're adorable, but A, I've got to go to sleep. B, I got to get back to work. Or in like for example in Mariano's case, it's 10:30. He's actually still in the office, but he's probably on a conference call or coding or something like this. But the reason I brought him up is because at the end of the day, like in the middle of the day, he goes to lunch and he's just gonna. So there's no like real sort of and reason other than well, I need to go do something else, and sometimes I need to go to the restroom. Sometimes I need to go for lunch. Sometimes I need to go to sleep. But then sometimes, of course, as we all are bombarded with all day, every day, there's something else I would rather do. Like if right now you all of a sudden just got a notification, hey, so Dave went live, for example. It's like, oh, well, I hang out with Dave, and he does live streams every day or every other day, so you're going to go over there. And so it's just like I'm really curious. But what I will say, I will tell you guys because so Chris, just so you know, I canceled the any other basically New Year's Eve event I was going to do. I was potentially going to DJ at this market in Jomtien, but something else came up in addition to Chris and I doing a 24-hour live stream through all of the time zones on the planet, celebrating New Year's Eve. So, so I'm totally up for that, and I'm psyched for it. I already started looking at a couple of things as far as like graphics and that sort of thing. Oh, I got this hangnail that's been bumming me out. Um, so I think what we'll do, Chris, is we will start what will be 10 p.m. your time on New Year's Eve, and what will be 7 p.m. my time on New Year's Eve. And then that will be the first celebration of midnight, which is in the time zone where Auckland, New Zealand is. So I believe that's like either UTC plus 11 or UTC plus 12. We're going to go there, and then every hour we're going to celebrate New Year's Eve. So after 2 hours of the live stream, we'll be celebrating it where Chris is, and then we'll celebrate it on the other side of Australia, and then we'll move into like the Samoan Islands, and then yeah, and then after actually 5 hours, it'll be UTC plus 7, which is me. So we'll celebrate New Year's Eve in Bangkok, and we'll just keep going till we get all the way to UTC. I believe it's UTC minus 11, but there's also UTC plus 13 and plus 14, which I believe coincides with UTC minus 11, which is kind of crazy. But all the way around, and then of course, International Day. So Chris and I are going to be doing that on New Year's Eve. I'm going to throw some up there. I'll definitely schedule it, and I think that's going to be awesome. Oh, I am really curious about this. How many? 8 to 12 cans a day, 300 something ml cans. Oh, okay, yeah. And so like basically down in Australia, you guys have like the 12-ounce can, which is like 300 or plus something milliliters, whereas we have the sort of, the way that I refer to it is the Red Bull container, because up until Red Bull was introduced into the United States, no one would basically drink a soft drink that was in 8.5 milliliters. It would just be, sorry, 8.5 ounces. That would just be totally weird. Everything is 12 ounces in the U.S., either 12 ounces or the 16.9 ounce, which is like 500 milliliters, right? So 8 to 12 can. Yeah, I mean, that's significant. I can see why changing would have been, would not have been a bad idea. 3 to 12 cup pots every day of coffee, fresh brewed. I'm sure you don't drink 3-in-1 in the United States because you're not unsophisticated like I so am. 10:30 p.m. here in Florida. Yes, it is. It's probably 10:31 in Florida. Yeah, three 12. Oh, got it. Drink 3 12-ounce cups pots every day. Okay, got it. Makes sense. Ah, you're going to lunch at 11. Okay, cool. Thank you, dude. I was just curious, but it was just sort of like, yeah, I wonder like, why other people stay and why other people don't. Oh, what is this about the laptop touchscreen? I don't know if I need touchscreen, but in fact, sometimes I'm like, I wish I had touchscreen, and then there are other times where I'm like, oh, thank God this doesn't have it, because I like want to touch the screen and notify or look at things or whatever. Intel Core i9, an i9 with 16. I mean, I could Google this, but do you guys know how much RAM is on the GeForce 4060? And if and what's the vintage of the 4060? My legs are on fire right now, burning up. That sun is so hot. And easily I could move back a little bit. So I actually think I'm going to do that here. But let me catch up on the comments and make sure I'm with it, because it'll actually be nice if I don't get direct sun on my laptop as well. Oh yeah, I guess I need that. Well, yes, it's still on the graphics. I want to link to channels to spread the love. Yep, as discussed, time is good. Yeah, no, totally. I will. I'll schedule something, and I'll schedule it on both or three. Let's see, mine and then two others. So probably like 3 or 4 Facebooks, my YouTube, my ass off YouTube, and then the Spot YouTube. I'll put it on bkk.fm YouTube too, in case anyone that's subscribed to that is not subscribed to the NS. Yeah, it'll be like basically 7 a.m. Florida, 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Bangkok, and 10 p.m. Brisbane. Cans here are the same height as Thailand, but fatter for volume. Yeah, exactly. That's what we have there. What about the 4060? As a gamer, 4060 is my Euro best. Okay, see, now I'm not a gamer, but what I realized is that if I buy a GPU that is what's considered good for, like, not the best, but what's considered a good graphics card, a GPU from NVIDIA, then I've really future-proofed myself for, I would say, at least 3 years. And so that's what I really believe that I've done with my current one. So I'm going to move the chairs so that I don't have to be chastised by the wife about how dark my body is. I'm going to go back here underneath, and then we'll probably, I don't know if this is going to, I don't know if this is going to, I don't know, oh, I want to be around. I'll use this one to sit in, and that way I can see around the tire. And this is kind of like one of these day in the life videos, right, guys? This is how exciting it gets for this YouTuber. And you know what? I'm going to sit. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to actually. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on my left. No, no, no. The thing I'm concerned about is as the sun rises even more in the sky, I'm not going to get any. I'm not going to get any. Oh, that's still pretty good. Oh, that's right. I got to raise this leg on the tripod. Hold on. Can I do this with one hand? Oh, is that level-ish? Yeah, it is. So basically, there we go. That's about level, isn't it, guys? Yeah. All right, good. Okay, cool. 12 of you still watching. Thank you guys very much. I got to move the table. Give me 10 seconds. And, oh, and I'm glad I didn't lose my tether to my phone. I guess I don't really need this table any longer because I'm not drinking this coffee. But I got to tell you, I absolutely would like a Diet Coke. But yeah, that's cool. That I was, how far away was I? Just actually, I mean, this is cold coffee, so I'm gonna pour this out. Stand by. Yeah, this is a great little. Well, for no other reason than it was free. Alrighty then. Okay, I believe I've. Okay, I'm basically future proof now. Look at that. 12 of you still watching. You guys are so awesome. I really appreciate that. Ah, so cool. Yeah, so I want to get something. Okay, so hold on. Newest. So it's fourth generation. And what is that the generation we're on? Because I mean, according to the CPUs, what are we on? The ninth generation, right? 4090. How much extra would it be? Spot on. Spot on as far as the time or as far as the GPU I should buy, Chris. Works for me as a trading laptop with two portable monitors. Oh, so you know what? That's something that I can't do on my current laptop. I can use one external monitor via HDMI, but I can't. Two things I can't do that I really want to be able to do because I use portable monitors too. I want to be able to daisy chain the portable monitors via USB-C, which apparently you do if you're either generating the video on USB-C or you're generating the video via DisplayPort. And let's face it, DisplayPort, the only places I have DisplayPorts are, well, I'll say two things about that. The only place I have DisplayPorts are on desktops that I've bought off of Amazon that I'm using for like automation or remote broadcast or something like that. And they have the DisplayPorts on there, but immediately after opening the box, I then plug in a DisplayPort to HDMI converter. So, but I do understand that the DisplayPort does give the ability for you to be able to sort of daisy chain monitors and get additional ones. But what I believe is the case, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but what I believe is the case is that you can only use one monitor per GPU. And I want to be able to get around that. I mean, if the GPU is so freaking stellar, why wouldn't it be able to basically see that you've got physically plugged in 2, 3, 4, 7, whatever monitors? Or do you need a damn GPU? Do you need a damn graphics card for every single monitor? That sounds ridiculous. Um, Out of this Chromebook, I can go USB-C into a portable monitor. The problem is that the portable monitors I have don't have the daisy chainable connections. So in other words, there's only one USB-C in, and I get a USB-C in and a micro or mini rather HDMI in, but I don't have like a USB-C out. So I want to figure out a solution to being able to daisy chain some. Oh, the picture. Great, thank you. Yeah, it looks pretty nice, right? It's kind of cool. Who wouldn't hang out here? This is awesome. This is awesome. Just ask me. 4060 with 8 gigs. Okay, I mean that's definitely respectable. Um, put it on my backpack is my getaway setup. So a laptop and two external monitors, two portable external monitors. What are you buying for external monitors, Joe? So it's such that you can use two. Um, I buy these ones off of Lazada here, and for like about $100. Mariano has the same one. There's a bunch of different brands. In fact, the last two that I bought, it comes in a white box with black lettering that says portable monitor. There's no manufacturer. The first one I bought was E-Yo-Yo, the letter E-Y-O-Y-O, and again, about $100. $100. The nice thing about that one is it actually had USB-C in on both sides, and so therefore I could go USB-C in on the left or the right via the powered / video USB-C connector, and then it also had a USB-C power connector and an HDMI mini connector. Mini. I really like that. That was great. But the ones that I bought lately have only got one side going in, so it's kind of a drag because sometimes you want the monitor to your left, sometimes you want it to your right. And this Chromebook actually has USB-C coming out of both sides, and so therefore it allowed me to have it on either side very easily. So that was kind of nice. But that's a pretty cool setup, dude. I can't even imagine, Joe. Two external. That would be great. Hmm. At British Telecom, we used two 34-inch 2K screens on crap laptops. So how do you? I don't understand then. How are you able to use a laptop with two external monitors? I mean, using one HDMI out, I assume, right? I mean, that's all I had on my. That's all I have on my laptop is the one HDMI out. It's kind of weird. Okay, hold on. I need to set my laptop to three monitors. Okay. I mean, again, I thought that I would be able to do that because certainly Windows can handle it. But maybe my 16, what do I have? A 1650 or something like that? My 1650 is just like, you know, hmm, that's uh that's something I need to look into because that really bums me out that I'm limited to the amount of external monitors. Sounds like mine needs to visit MBK or another major electronics mall mega. Yeah, so I have done that. I will tell you though that I've literally been standing right in front of one of those men. You know how there's like literally one after another. Like you go to like I usually go to Fortune Town in Bangkok to get my tech stuff. Like if I need it right then. So for example, I actually went to Fortune Town and went to JIB or Jib, however you call it, computers. That's where I got my Aces. I went there with Dana, and I went there with Dana, and we actually bought something at a store named Jib. Shocker, right? Anyway, um, I've been there before, and I've been standing in front of one of those many electronic shops, like one right after another, whether it's like video, audio, combination of both, cabling, whatever. And I look down at the thing, and I go to Lazada.com, .co.th. I go to Lazada, look up the exact same item, and it's sometimes half price. Because I mean, a lot of these guys, all they're doing is ordering it from Lazada. They're just ordering 50 of them, and then they're marking it up, which is fine. I mean, that's retail versus wholesale, right? I get it. But yeah, if I'm willing to wait 2 or 3 days, then buying it on Lazada has been a stellar thing. And the only downside when I need to return something is physically being available, having the item physically available to give to the guy that picks it up for the return. Mariano, thank you by the way, helped me out the other day. I was here and they're like, "Oh yeah, a courier has been assigned to pick up your." I returned a Samsung external 1 terabyte hard drive. Sorry, solid state drive, and the transfer speed on it was completely lame. I doubt Banana IT is a solution. Well, I wouldn't go there for tech support. But I mean, every now and then they do have stuff that's pretty cheap. That is for darn sure. Um, we call it banana, but if you don't know, it's really supposed to be pronounced banana, as in Nana Plaza, as in BTS Nana, banana. Nyoto 17.3. I think I paid around $1.50. So those are the two. So you carry around two external 17s, and they're is it all powered by USB? Because that would be sweet, dude. That would be just stellar. 150 each. Yeah, that's what I figured. That's cool. The Lenovo had two X. Oh, got it. So you have two. Well, that's interesting. I do have two physical USB-C connectors on this Chromebook. I wonder if I can plug in two external monitors via USB-C. I am going to try that when I get home. Because what I discovered is if I plug the power in to one of my monitors and then use the USB power and data cable coming out of the PC, then the power that's going into the monitor powers the monitor, but it also goes through the USB-C power and it recharges my laptop, which I absolutely adore. So you had two physical outgoing, so that's kind of good. Have you ever used Shopee? Yeah, I mean I use it probably about. I probably use it 50% of the time. No, I probably use it half as much. So I probably use it 33% of the time. The remaining 66% um, I probably use Lazada. Shopee customer service is not as good. Shopee sending and returning, the quality of the packaging that shows up always seems to be worse with Shopee. Um, One of the things I do like using Shopee is the fact that I know that MetTech has shared that he owns stock in Shopee. So I feel good using Shopee. But yeah, I use it interchangeably. I have both apps on my phone. And the other thing that I do is usually I'll just go into Google Chrome and search for the item, right? So like, powered USB hubs. And I think I read somewhere that the maximum amount of ports you can have on a USB hub based on the standard is 8. Do any of you guys know if that's a true statement or not? Because there's absolutely 12 port USB hubs for sale. I've also bought a powered USB hub, and the power, all it did is it lit lights. It didn't put the power onto the USB-C. So the distance, it was ridiculous. The data went through no matter what, whether I had the power on or not, and I still only was able to extend another like 2 meters. It was ridiculous. But I think the next thing I want to do is I want to buy truly a powered USB hub, which I think is probably the only reason I probably bought that other one is the fact that it was cheap, and therefore I got a cheap product, which then I quickly returned. So how many people have we shared this beach with today? I'm going to go with 0. We shared the pier with one gentleman who is a fisherman with a net. And that is it. As far as I know, I'm the only person that's purchased any coffee from these people. And wow. I do know there's a restroom down the street, though, so that's kind of cool. And it's 5 baht. 5 baht for the restroom. I think it's 10 or 15, maybe even 20 baht for a shower. That's a pretty good deal. We're at an hour 53, and I have an hour and 16 minutes left. I'm going to see if I can stretch out the whole hour. However, I may not be able to do it, not based on technology, but based on bladder. I mean, I purposely didn't drink a ton of coffee, but I have a feeling that I'm going to have to use a restroom here shortly. So, Joe, I got your email on the laptop. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And hey, I'm curious. How did you guys get notified of my live stream, specifically on YouTube? Did you get notified of it? Did you get notified that I had scheduled the live stream, or did you get notified because I was doing a premiere? And if so, did you get notified of the premiere when I scheduled it, which was half an hour before? And if you did watch the premiere during the premiere, reminded that a live stream was coming up, or did it just tell you when I went live? And if it told you when I went live, how long after I went live did it let you know I went live? Because that always seems to be something that I don't know what the deal is there, but it always seems to be. Desktop was about $7,000 4 years ago, 6 monitors. Well, right, but you're a trader, dude. I mean, I get that. You guys, now to do 6 monitors, did you have to get 6 video cards, or do you get a video card that's got like 2 or 3 ports on it, and then you do like 3 monitors in this one, 3 monitors in that one? I would be very interested about that. My buddy Brian has, God, I want to say 9 monitors. I think he's got 3 by 3 in his office, which is a little excessive, and it's kind of neat. Single USB host controller can allow up to 127 connected devices. Ah, got it. So 2 to the 8th. Oh, is that what it is? 8 powered, 4 with a decent port on the laptop alone. Ah, so 8 is the maximum number of power you can use. Got it. I suppose that makes sense, right? Because I mean, again, they're only gonna it's 5 volts, right? It's not 12. As far as I know, USB is 5 volts. And I wonder how much current you need to be able to go like 10 meters on USB. You probably need like 2 amps, don't you? I bet if you have one, because I know if I only have 1 amp, that I can't use that to charge my GoPro while I'm using the USB-C out for video. I have to have the ability to have 2 amps of current at the 5 volts to basically squirt into the GoPro Hero 9 in order to charge it while I'm using it for video, which is a little bit disappointing, but it is what it is. I was kind of hoping I could get a dummy battery for the GoPro 9 and then use the USB-C for video out and then have it powered so that it would never go off. Because if I take the battery out and try to use USB power, it just dies immediately. YouTube popped up on the premiere and schedule. Ah, good to know, man. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. It's always good to know that it works like it's supposed to. Receive several profit for your premieres. Oh, so like what? It reminds you when I scheduled it, and then reminded you when we were like 5 minutes away. Kind of like a Zoom call will do. That's kind of news. That's kind of nice. That's news to me. There was a nice tree to pee on behind you. Yeah, there's a significant amount of trees actually, and I used that version of the Hong Nam a little bit further down the beach where there's even less people, and I felt okay with it. I mean, I'm always sort of conscious. I don't want someone to have to look at me going, "Oh, Jesus, this freaking guy." Chris never told me it actually went live though. Go figure. It told you about the premiere, but it never told you about the live stream, huh? Hmm. Hey Joe, how you doing? You're a new name to me. I apologize that I don't recognize you. Thank you for coming by. I really appreciate it. What channel are you watching on, man? Thanks a lot. No notification. Cool. So you just cruised on by. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. 2S Plus. Honestly, it's way more reliant on crap cables these days. Wire size will kill a setup every time. Well, absolutely. If the gauge is low, right, then I'm not going to be able to get much current through it, which is total drag. Saudi Cup. That's cool. Okay, so this guy, which we'll watch walking behind me here, he's got his fishing rod, and then soon behind me will be the rest of his family, which is pretty awesome. They're having a family outing. That's pretty cool. So Dad's going to go out on the fishing pier with the fishing rod with wife and the little kid, and then it seems like the younger kids are going to go out there too, along with another baby. I mean, how can you call that a bad Wednesday? Anybody? Now, what's interesting is when I swap out the video like this, it's really it's really slow for me, and I have a feeling that is because the battery is getting low. How much time do I have left in this battery? It says I have an hour and 10 left at 24%. So I don't know whether it's like, oh, he's only got 24%. We should probably um, slim down because it doesn't. I mean, I can tell you right now, it's not really warm. It's warm, the base of it, but I think it's warm simply because there's there's lack of ventilation based on it like sitting on my lap. So I'm not quite sure. I have 3 solar packs to recharge my laptop. And how much does each one do, Joe? I assume that they put out what? If it's going to charge your laptop, what does it need to be? 18 volts? Or can it get away with 12? How much power do you get on each one? I'm guessing if you have 3 solar packs, that they're probably what? About, like if we were to measure it diagonally the way you would measure a laptop, probably like what, 12 to 15 inches? Are they the flexible kind that fold up, that like roll up? Those are pretty cool though, but I think you can only get like 100 watts out of each of those, right? Told me live in 30, but never when it actually went up. So that's interesting. So YouTube got a notification, hey, by the way, Mike's plans to go live in 30 minutes. YouTube popped up for live at 8:30. Okay. It was scrubbed and followed with a 30-minute until live. That doesn't make any sense to me because I went live at like 8:40. And when I went to it, the link, then, oh, wait, what do we got going on now? Audio is behind the video at the moment. Okay, what about now? I know that I have a feeling that this Chromebook believes it's being smart, and therefore it's like, oh, let's power down to save this poor man. Let's not give a crap about video quality. 8 of you watching right now. Glad to see you doing lives again. Sweet. I also didn't get a notification. Not shocking, my friend. Not shocking. So lame. The interesting thing. So Joe, where are you from? You're a new name to me. Indeed. Hello to you. I want to thank you for coming by. I didn't. Maybe I know you. I apologize if the what I think of, unfortunately, when I say see Joe Valenzuela, is I think of my friend John Vazella. That's what just popped up. So for some reason that's distracting me, and I'm not able to figure out where you're from. So that's kind of lame. But that's what I got lame for. That's what I have my hat on for, to keep my lame nice and warm. In the small window, it's okay. In the large window, it's 20 to 30 milliseconds behind. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Interesting. Well, anyway, that's what we've got. So I know, right? Indeed. Come on, AIS. You're better than this. I will tell you that when I click on this comment, it probably takes 3 seconds before it shows up on the window. So, but I agree, Richard. Yeah, AIS is usually quite awesome. Well, I can tell you that I think it is quite awesome. Hey, Joe, whereabouts in California? If you don't know, maybe you already know, and you're like, Mike, we literally like hung out for like 4 days straight. So I apologize, and I can't see your image. So if you're like Joe that I know from meetings, then I really apologize, buddy. But I still have 64% on my phone. So I've been streaming for 2 hours, 3 minutes, 15, 16, 17 seconds. So that's like totally awesome. The other thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to figure out how to get the GoPro. Oh, I mean, I know how to use the GoPro for live streams. And so what I was going to do is I was going to walk down this beach that's right over here, that's in front of me by the pier, take a long walk off that short pier. And, oh, are you kidding me? 4,300 milliamp hours on the power bank. And that's the total. So you got 3 solar panels and you're getting almost 43. Dude, that's awesome. 4.2 amps. Dude, good for you. That's friggin' epic, man. Wow, that's outstanding. Just a note, it's YouTube live stream. Does it really matter? Ah, near SFO. Right on, Joe. Oh my goodness. I am so honored that you guys have like come by. I really appreciate it. It reminds me that, obviously, people have lives and it's not like you guys disliked me. It's my fault. The brand's not on anymore. You've had it that long. Wow. Enjoyed your past vid reconnecting. Dude, seriously, thank you very much. I vaguely remember your name, I think, in the other reason that my video that is really small right now is that the way that I lay in this chair, the video, because of the depth of field, is so lousy on this thing. When I lean back, it makes me look like I have no body, but I have like this really fat face because I'm like this, and so it's kind of it's almost like Halloween where like you dress up and then like there's no head above you, but then there's like no body. So naturally, my vanity does not permit me to have that be the most important video that you guys are seeing right now. Okay, so then this is totally new to me, bro. Pittsburgh, California. Now, the only Pittsburgh I know of in California that is near San Francisco is what I believe is the Pittsburgh stop on BART. I didn't realize that it was an actual community. I just thought it was like called that, like Steve's Junction or whatever those other ones are called. Um, I know that's okay. So let's see. I'm trying to remember my BART stops. So Pittsburgh, is that near Richmond, or is that down on the other end of the BART line? What BART line are you on? I can't remember. Pittsburgh's at the end, right? Or did they extend it past that? It's been so long since I've been to San Francisco. I used to love going to San Francisco when I would luck out and the weather would be decent, and I would be at a conference at Moscone. That was a great, really, really cool place when it was like, I'm trying to think. So when VMware was there, VM World was there in September. That was always decent weather. We used to have really decent weather then. We could sit outside. And I also went to what's the big? It's like 100,000 people that attend it at Moscone, and it's the convention for oh god, what's that? Oh god, I'm completely spacing on the cloud. It's a cloud company, but basically they historically were basically a CRM, and then they went to but now they have cloud. It's owned by the guy that left Oracle to start his own thing. Um, yeah, it's a place in Bart. Okay, so no wait. Oh, it's the Antioch. Ah, the yellow line. Got it. Got it. Got it. Oh, that's very cool. Thanks, dude. I have good memories of being up there for that. That was like totally cool. Next to the last stop on the yellow line. Right. I knew that was like almost at the bottom there, or top rather. Any recommendations for a 350 size scooter, or just get the Kawasaki Ninja 400? Richard, are you talking about over here? So I will tell you that my buddy, who may or may not still be on the stream, Logan or LC, he just bought what I believe is a 350. If not, I know it was very similar to that size, but he just got a 350 Honda. Salesforce, thank you. Why could I not? I was thinking of like the letter Q, but for the life of me, and of course you're up there, so you're like, yeah, dude, Salesforce. Dreamforce was the name of the conference, and it was really stellar. They had, oh, that's right, yeah, you got the ADV. Ah, yeah. Now I also got to tell you that his ADV 350, I don't know whether he just got lucky or whether this is like a sort of realistic expectation of an experience over here. Because if you guys saw my last video, then you know that I have these certain expectations that I need to keep in check. Otherwise, I'm going to get disappointed. um, but Logan told me the story of he had buying this thing used was literally like a slam dunk. Like the guy who sold it to him was trustworthy. The bike is in excellent condition, runs, and he got a great deal on it because it's used. I don't even think it's got 20,000 kilometers on it. I can't remember how many you said, Logan, but man, you got a great deal on it. It's a dynamite bike, and it's got like extras on it, right? So one could argue that like the cost of that bike that he got outfitted with all that stuff on it, I bet it would be probably north of 250, probably like 300,000 baht for that thing. Maybe 250,000 baht. But it's a great bike, and here's how I know this. is I got to ride on the back. Now, I know that this would be Gracie would feel a little bit weird about this. When you're sitting as the second rider on it, you're high up, which is awesome for me. I thought it was a great experience. I mean, we were just cruising around town. Neither of us had helmets on. Trust me, I was not great happy about that, but that was just the reality of it. Um, but I mean, you're sitting up really high on the back, which I thought was great. Gracie has this fear of sitting way high on the back because she believes that if the person slams on the brakes, you'll go flying forward over the driver. And while that's a possibility, I would argue it's not really a probability. So it's not something that I worry about, but it does bug her. Don't bother with gears, i.e., Kawasaki 400. Now hold. Oh, because you mean the transmission, the transmission, the Kawasaki 400 has. Yeah, dude, not even 10,000 kilometers. That was, dude, that's freaking sweet. That's great. Um, I don't know what I was thinking. I'm sure you just mistyped. I apologize for not understanding. But maybe knee is what stands for the awesome transmission that the Kawasaki 400 has. But as far as that ADV goes, when we were cruising around it, as far as I'm concerned, there was no transmission. I mean, it was literally, I didn't feel any sort of shifting. That's for sure. But the other thing that I liked about it was such a smooth ride. Now, if you've been to Pattaya or Jomtien or Pattaya Beach or that sort of thing lately, you could argue, okay, yes, Mike, but the road is like brand new. So, okay, yeah, it's smooth to begin with. But that thing, I mean, the suspension in it it was really a smooth ride. Now, I don't know if driving it for, say, 90 minutes on the motorway, I barely feel comfortable driving a car on the motorway around here when there's like these massive trucks all over the place. But I do it because I like the results. I like being able to see this beach and being able to hang out here at this beach with you guys. And it says I got 58 minutes left and 19% on the battery here on the Chromebook. Most ties, no, don't know where the oil dips. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I could find it. Like, I don't know. Right off the bat, I don't know where the oil dipstick is on my Mazda 2. I mean, it's a rental car, and I haven't popped the hood. I'm sure I could find it. Usually it's like a bright yellow hook, isn't it? On the new cars, don't they have to have, like, doesn't it have to be, like, a completely separate, different color of the dipstick as well as the cap on the, I don't know, power steering fluid. I don't know. It seems like my mom has a Saab, which of course, as you know, is dating me because that company went absolutely bankrupt during the global financial crisis. But it's a great little car, and the good news about New England is that there were so many Saabs, so many Volvos that were purchased that there are still mechanics that make their livelihood simply off of servicing Saabs and Volvos. Volvos obviously are still sold, but Volvo's goal is to go, full electric. I think here in the next year or two. But the Saabs obviously those are classic cars now. Those are antiques. You can't go buy one. Um, but yeah, it's a great little car, and that I remember being underneath the hood of it recently when I was back there to do some light bulb change outs, and I think they were all color coded. Unfortunately, the bike not allowed on the motorway here. Oh, okay. So by that you mean the 7, right? Because I can tell you I was on the 36 coming here, and there were motorbikes everywhere on the 36, as well as the 3376. Does that sound right? But but yeah, you're probably referring to the toll road, and arguably I would not. I mean, that's just, yeah. Hold on. You see, like when I click on this now, it takes forever for the comment to show up. Benja's chicken bike has an unscheduled disassembly due to running completely out of oil. Oh my God, really? I don't know how you'd run completely out of oil. I mean, doesn't like the light come on when you've got like, you know, like 100 milliliters left in it or something? I mean, I can't believe that the light comes on when, and the fact that it completely ran out. Oh, hold on. Is it a brand new? I mean, as far as I know, like I can tell you right now, every new car I've ever driven, the only thing in it is synthetic motor oil. Synthetic motor oil, you can drain the oil completely out of the friggin' crankcase, and it'll still run okay. It'll probably run hotter. But with synthetic motor oil, you should be golden. I thought that's all they use anymore. Maybe not. Maybe that's all that I've used anymore when I've been putting oil changes or that sort of thing. Back to the laptop for just a second. Check the USB 4 spec on Wikipedia. It has all the video data power specs to see if it fits what you want. It works for me on the Mac with the two 8Ks for editing. So, uh, as far as I know, the cameras I have and the cameras I'm going to buy are never going to be anything more than 2K. I have obviously this. I believe the camera that we're looking at right now, that's on the beach, that's giving us this beach view. I believe that is not even 720. I know that I'm streaming in 720, but I don't think it does 1080. And then I know that my GoPro with USB out, I want to say it does 1080p. Do you guys know if the GoPro Hero 9, if I get the media mod and do HDMI out, is that going to give me 4K? I don't believe it is, but that's good. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the table I'm sure that they have in on Wikipedia for that will be yeah, they're yellow. Yeah. Taking Zip Airlines to Bangkok, then Phuket in April. Looking to stay 2 months and border run, trying 3 months. Yeah, with a border run, you could probably ever. I mean, as long as you haven't done it, as long as you haven't done it a whole lot, Joe, you should be totally fine. It's no big deal. If you come in, go to Bangkok, and then they're not going to know. Well, the airlines will know that you're down in Phuket, and of course they'll report that to the U.S. if that's who your home country is for. But it's not like you're entering or exiting the country. But yeah, I've heard Zip Airlines is one of these. It's kind of like Spirit Airlines, right? You pay for absolutely everything that you get, right? And so a lot of people say, "Oh, you're nickel and diming me," but I got to tell you, in comparison, right, to Southwest Airlines, they don't nickel and dime you. You get two, in air quotes, free bags. Well, you end up paying $350 for a one-way on Southwest Airlines, when on Spirit it's like 150, and if you were to seriously need two checked-in bags, it would be another 100 or $125. It's still cheaper than going Southwest, and you can get an assigned seat. So there's a lot to be said for nickel and diming me, because then I get to choose what I'm buying. Because when I'm on an airline, I got to tell you, I don't think I've ever checked in two bags on Southwest, except the one flight that I took from San Diego to Boston to go see my parents in October of 2019, to let them know, hey, P.S., I'm quitting my job. There's a reason I have three bags with me. I'm going to store these up in my room. Gracie and I are going to go live in Thailand next month permanently. And it's not like it's the first time they had ever heard something like that. They were just like, oh, right. You wanted to go there. Well, good luck. I had my grandson go into AutoZone to get blinker fluid when he came out. Dude, that's totally awesome, Joe. I love that. You know what a buddy of mine used to do? He's probably not watching right now, but one of the guys that would watch me on Facebook, Paul Sines. He's a guy that I went to high school with. And when you're in high school, you get these jobs like dishwasher and waiter and and all that sort of thing. I was a dishwasher when I was like in high school. Actually, it was junior high because I think I didn't even have my driver's license and I was washing dishes. But anyway, so Paul, he used to work at this place called the Old Mill Grill in our hometown. And what the bosses used to do there for the young employees, just to screw with them, is they would be like, dude, I need you to go outside and get me a bucket of steam. And everything would be really, really tense and really fast. And you had to do things really, 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 you know. And so they would go about and they're like, got to get a bucket of steam, got to get a bucket of steam. And then by the time the guy got back, he goes, dude, screw you. There's no such thing as a bucket of steam. All the other restaurants laughed at me when I had told them I needed a bucket of steam. That was great. Bandwidth and symmetry changes. Mainly mine is 40 gigabits a second both ways. Well, right, yeah. I mean, I know you needed that for your. Well rounded. Next time, go to the sporting goods shop and have him ask for a brass magnet. You guys are freaking awesome. I love that. Brass magnet or some. That's great. I haven't heard something like that in a while. Thank you guys. I needed that. And Logan, thank you for notifying us that you're leaving. I appreciate you coming by. I'm sure by now you're not talking. You're not there any longer. But yes, I do want to talk laptops later. And in fact, after this, I'm going to immediately send a message to the guy that Logan gave me to contact about a rental car. If any of you guys have any recommendations for people to rent rental cars with other than expat car rent in Pattaya, please let me know. And I'm not saying that because expat car rent is bad. I'm saying that because apparently expat car rent does not have another car for me when I take mine back on Friday. So, Jay Easy. So the short answer is Robbie is, as far as I know, he's in Jomtien. I haven't talked to him in a couple of days. He was here moments ago, but I can see there's only 4 people watching right now, so I'm sure he bolted. But yeah, as far as I know, he's in Jomtien. Probably today is the first day officially of the WGP, which stands for the World Grand Prix jet ski competition. So yeah, I need a left-handed screwdriver along with my bucket of steam. Nice work, Logan. I have a box of left-handed flat screwdrivers for sale. If anyone, you guys are awesome. I totally needed this right now. This has been perfect. I'm still laughing at my bucket of steam. I know that's the one that I brought to the table, but yours are great. Left-handed screwdriver. That's awesome. The next one is Home Depot. You get a pipe stretcher, the PVE type, not the metal one. That's awesome. That is totally awesome. Yeah, it's real easy to buy wire cutters. It's real hard to buy wire extenders. But of course. Okay, what's this one? Oh, you guys are coming up with some great ones. I adore this. This. We should do this as just a part of the live streams. A pot of all right, what's this one? See, now Logan's not left you guys because he kept them an electric shoehorn and a fur sink. Yeah. Uh-huh. Electric dog polisher, fur sink. What was the other one that Steve Martin used to say? Um, Pudding with cat hair in it. That was always good. Or the book that you would always read, The Glass Bikini by Seymour Hare. You ever use that one when you were kids? That's kind of funny too. Spipe Church is for sale. Good price. Over cow. Ha ha. Bada bing, Jay Easy. Good work, dude. Nice going. Okay, so I still have time on the laptop. In fact, I have 48 minutes left. But this tells me I can go at least 2.5 hours with this laptop because it wasn't 100% when I started it. And I can do 2 cameras. I can do mine, and I can do the external USB webcam, and I can do it tethered to my phone with 5G the whole time. And I got to tell you, I think this has been a great live stream. You know what? And here's the thing: I do have my um, my Behringer USB mixer, so I could actually plug a phantom power. I could plug in either a dynamic, which is what I have, or even a a condenser mic and plug that in to get the audio better. So I could absolutely do that, and I don't think it would use up that much more power. But I know I could definitely do a 2.5 hour live stream with better audio next time. I actually probably could have used the lapel mic. So out of stock. I'm really out of stock. We don't have the pipe stretchers. Go to stores and ask for a long wait. But yeah, I'd like a long wait. Oh, just go to the cashier, sir. Yeah, these are pretty good, dude. All right, what other ones you guys got here before I need to go to my Hong Nam? Worked on radios and asked the new guy to get a Falaplan tube from the supply. Yeah, a flux capacitor. Personal favorite grocery store prank: have the cashier shake the salad dressing. Yeah, I really want you to toss my salad. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, from Richard Martin, who has been here the whole time, along with Joe's $2 that I'm going to go use to go get a smoothie. I want to tell you guys, thank you so much for coming by, and thank you for keeping me sane and helping me to be happy here at the Mermaid Cafe truck that is behind me, along with my amazing 83 baht hat. I want to say thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate it, Chris. I love hanging out with you and can't wait to do it. Joe, thank you for coming by and checking me out again. I hope I can add more value again here in the future. I have a couple videos that are going to drop, but if you guys are okay with it, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit videos. I'm going to upload them. I'm going to make them premieres. And then following the premiere, then I'm going to do a 2.5 hour live stream. How does that sound? Don't forget, mark your calendars for whenever New Year's Eve at midnight is in your time zone, because Chris and I are going to do a 24-hour live stream starting with UTC minus 11, which is we're going to be celebrating New Year's Eve at midnight, Auckland, New Zealand time, and then we're going to go all the way around the globe and celebrate New Year's Eve for wherever you guys are. And so try and like, subscribe, and share. Tell your friends. Don't forget to sign up for my drop shipping class for $39.97 only this week. And with that, it's Mike's from livemyassoff.com with another $2. For God's sake, Joe. Joe, how can you have solar panels, a amazing $1,300 laptop, 2 external monitors, 6 monitors in your home laptop, and still have the $2 to give to me? That is incredibly gracious, dude. I am absolutely living the dream. Who's going to be New Year's Eve in Thailand? Yeah, so that's going to happen, Jay Easy. I'm sure you're here for that, but that'll happen at UTC plus 7, which will basically be 3 hours after Chris, my buddy from Brisbane, celebrates it. And I'm going to be able to go take my current Joe $2, and I'm going to. Oh yeah, I tell you what. So how much I'm going to convert that? That's going to be. That's going to be about. Let's say for the sake of argument, that's going to be 100 baht. I'm going to give this guy 100 baht for the coffee and him allowing me to be here and that sort of thing. So I'm going to give that $2 to Mermaid. How's that? And the next time I do one, I don't know if I'll be here, but I will definitely do it. Yeah, I know. I need to get some zinc. I used to use zinc oxide when I would ski because of the reflection, but I don't use it here. But I will see you in the next vid, definitely. Thank you, Joe. I really appreciate it. Logan, I'll be talking to you soon. Over and out with that, guys. Hope you're living the dream. It's Mike's from livemyassoff.com, and I hope you're living the dream. Because if you're not living the dream, you're definitely doing it wrong, and you haven't been able to do a live stream nonstop, basically with a 2-camera shoot on your Google Chromecast, nor have you ever been able to get an epic hat like this just for 83 baht. With that, I love you guys.